Bubbles of info. Bubbles of fun. Bubbles of music. Ever wonder why these people do the Macarena? Or who styles Tina's hair? Well, find out on VH1's Pop-Up Video. Fun-filled facts packed into your favorite videos. Only on VH1. Pop-Up Video. Pop-Up Video.
Understanding him is hard. Controlling him...
Promise me you'll stay right here?
...may be impossible. From the director of Wayne's World, Chris Farley, David Spade.
So what do you want to do today?
No! Black Sheep.
Promise me you'll stay in the car.
minutes was good.
My 3 minutes was great.
But 10 minutes free with My Psychic is even better. My psychic told me not to worry. So I went back to school and now I've got a great job. Now that's a true friend.
Talking about true friends, 10 minutes free is where it's at.
Now that's for me.
She knew that my boyfriend Donald was scared of commitment. But the advice she gave me turned the tables. And now he's begging me for attention.
Get 10 minutes free. Call 1-900-454-1143.
You asked for it, you got it. All new episodes of your favorite TV show. VH1's 8-track Flashback. More classic hits from the 70s, sung by the original stars. VH1's 8-track Flashback. It's a TV show. Only available on VH1.
Going way back tonight, way back, 27 years ago for WWE Royal Rumble 1996. What's going on, guys? Happy weekend. Happy Sunday. You're getting all sorts of me this weekend. You got me for the podcast yesterday. My Dynamite review premiered on the channel this morning. And now we are here for Royal Rumble in 1996. We talked about this one a lot last week. I didn't bother doing a YouTube poll to decide this one because it was a busy week. I was working a lot. I went to LA for Dynamite, had to do a lot of editing for videos and stuff, and didn't really think too much about this. But since so many people mentioned last week that they really wanted us to do and watch 1996 together, I figured that pretty much decided it. Maybe next week we can do 1999. A lot of people have mentioned that one as well, with Rock and Mankind and, of course, Vince McMahon winning the Rumble. But 1996 is kind of a big one for me. This Royal Rumble is not one of the better known Royal Rumbles. I think it was in Fresno. Smaller attendance for this show, maybe about 10,000. Kind of an underwhelming Bret Hart and Undertaker match, to be honest with you. And this whole Royal Rumble show, when you look back on it, feels underwhelming. It feels like things started to tick in the upwards direction around 1997. Somebody asked here a minute ago in the chat, is this right before the Attitude Era? Would this be considered right before the Attitude Era? No, we were still a ways away from the Attitude Era. I think the Attitude Era, the earliest you could really trace it back to would be like the Montreal Screwjob, and then that December promo in 97, or vignette, or interview, not interview, but that promo that Vince cut on Raw where he said WWE is going to go in a different direction and the superhero is passé and all that nonsense. So and that's still close to 2 years away from this very show. We're just a month away from 1995 when this show aired. And this was kind of a big one for me. I had my timeline off. I remembered something last week when we were talking about this one. I said that this was the first Royal Rumble, or the first WWE pay-per-view, or the first wrestling pay-per-view, I should say, that I watched after I moved out of my parents' house. I moved out just a few months after high school when I was 18, got my own apartment, and I was off living life and ready to get out on my own and be independent very quickly after high school. And this was the first pay-per-view that I thought that I watched outside of my parents' home, but it wasn't. This was just the first pay-per-view that was on. But my first apartment didn't even have pay-per-view capabilities in it for like the first 3 months. So I actually remembered, I had to put all this together. I'm like, why the hell was I at my parents' house? I had moved out of the house in December of 95, right before In Your House, with Brett and Bulldog, and out on my own, living on my own. But then it was Royal Rumble time, and I really wanted to see this Royal Rumble, and I couldn't order pay-per-view at my apartment. So I went to my parents' house and went over there for dinner that Sunday night. And I remember we all had dinner, and then they kind of go to bed early, and they just went to bed, and I stayed up late in the house and watched the Royal Rumble. And I think I just left and shut the door behind me when I left and went back home to my apartment. So I think I remember just giving my mom like the money for the pay-per-view. I'm like, I'm going to order it here, watch it here, and they were fine with that. that. So I actually watched this pay-per-view in my parents' house all alone after I had already moved away from there. And it took me a while to kind of remember how all of that went down. So I got lots of memories of this one that I'm sure I'll share with you as we go through here. 1996 was an interesting year, transition period to say the very least right now in WWE. And 96 would be just an odd year in general before things would really take a turn in 97 and, of course, 98. And as we roll into the Attitude Era. So this should be a good one to watch. Let me say hi to everybody here in the chat, and then we'll get going here in just a couple of minutes. Good. Zane G is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. William Cullen as well. Tatanani is here. Ray Frand, How Wheezy, and the Juliet. And want to make sure I get all the channel members first. K-Dog's Kennel is in the house. Good to see you, Kevin. Glad you are here as well. Zach Palgett is here. We've got the Spaz Phoenix. We got George Morris. We've got Monkey Wrenches. We got Gold Standard in the house. What's going on, Ross? Good to see you. Andy Linnell is here. Fred Bucks, Crazy J. We got Alan Carter, another channel member I almost missed. Same thing with Ray Frand. We've got a third right wing or something like that is here as well. We've got Conor McGregor fans. We have, who else is here? JL is in the house. We have David Brown. Good to see you, man. Big J is here. We are Pro Wrestling. Very happy you're here. We might have some questions, although I'm pretty confident in my 1996 knowledge. So you really help us out with a lot of stuff and a lot of stats and a lot of facts. I think I should be able to handle most of the facts on this show, but you never know. Don't go anywhere. Stay close. We are Pro Wrestling. He says, for me, this Rumble began a stretch of about a decade where the Rumble winner was really predictable. Yeah. It was. I think even Shawn was predictable in 95 to me. When you look back to the previous year, other than Davey and Lex, who was really the true contenders to win that thing? Mabel, King Kong Bundy? It was probably going to be Shawn. So I'd either go a year earlier than that, to be honest. And then it really felt like maybe not 97. I don't think 97 was that predictable. I actually thought maybe Brett would win and go to WrestleMania to face Shawn. And then they did the deal at the end where Steve Austin won, but then the following year, Austin winning in 98 was super predictable. William Cullen's in the house here as well. Good to see you. Big J, I think I got you. Just want to make sure I did. Anybody else that I missed, welcome, and I'm sure I'll get you here in a minute. We've got William in the house. Ken Webb, Byron Cutler. Good to see everybody. William, thanks for being a great channel member as always. Let me knock out these 3 super chats, and then we will get Royal Rumble in 1996 going. You guys know what to do, and if you are new to these watch-alongs, we watch all of our watch-alongs here on Peacock. That's by far and away the best way to do it so we can all follow along. You are going to want to find the Royal Rumble tab under the WWE portion of Peacock. You want to go to Season 9, Episode 1. Runtime, according to Peacock, for Royal Rumble 1996 is 2 hours and 49 minutes. And you know what? I don't have it clicked, so I don't have the seconds on there. It is 2 hours, 49 minutes, and 17 seconds. So go ahead and get that pulled up. Get all your zeros across the board there, and then we'll do a countdown from 3 in just a little bit. We'll hit play together, and we can all watch along. And then once we do, the timer above my head will begin to run, and we just sync up with the timer. If you have an issue, if your house burns down, or if your microwave explodes, or if your dog shits on your lap, something like that, you got to pause us, do what you got to do. When you come back, just make sure your timer on Peacock matches the timer above my head, and everything will be just peachy. GQ Smooth, you can't hear? I think you can. Chris Miner, good to see you, man. Appreciate you being here as always, although I did not do a sound check, so why don't we do that? Can you hear me? Of course you can hear me. What's wrong with y'all? Clean out your ears. Get the earwax out of your ears, Zac Efron. We've got George Morris in the house. I want to thank you for that super chat. If I can just shut my volume off there. There we go. Where'd you go, George? Where'd you go? There you are. Thanks for the 5, dude. As always, good to see you. Hey, Greg, how are you doing? How is Tito? Royal Rumble 1996, 10 out of 10. My girlfriend's, her friend's daughter is in jail for burglary. $50,000 bail. Oh, man. You know what? I'm just short. I totally loan you the 50 grand, but I left it in my other pants. Sorry, dude. You can take the $5 back if you want to put it towards that bail. Really sorry to hear about your girlfriend's friend's daughter or whatever that's about. You always have an interesting story for us, George. Thank you for the token $5. And of course, Tito is amazing. He's under here. His fat ass is sound asleep right underneath my feet. and he should be snoring pretty soon. So all is well in the Morgan Podcastle. Thanks for asking. As always, George Morrison, thanks for being here. Good to see Vash Starwind in the house as well. Spaz is here with a couple of super chats, a couple of 10 buckers. Here's the first one. Cheers, Greg and chat. Cheap plug. I've brought back Flicks Fix, my movie series. I've got a review of the movie Megan and the trailer reaction for the movie Sick. Never heard of either. Also, WWE Last Week drops tomorrow at 10 a.m. If you are a movie person, go check out Spaz Phoenix's channel, and he will tell you all about Megan and Sick. Interested to hear that? 10 more from you a little further down. Also, for anyone that hasn't seen Impact in a while, last Friday's Hard to Kill show was pretty good, and Impact are coming to Toronto, so I'll be at Rebellion on April 16th. That's cool. I did hear a little bit about Hard to Kill. Of course, I hardly ever watch Impact. I watch some clips. I don't watch any other shows. It's just too much to keep up with. The day I do YouTube full-time is the day I'll start watching Impact, but unfortunately, just no time in my life for it. But I did hear positive things about Hard to Kill, and speaking of Hard to Kill, I think TNA and Impact is hard to kill. These guys are the cockroaches of wrestling. They have hung on, and they deserve a lot of credit for that because they have maintained during all of this to the point where they've hit rock bottom. They couldn't get any lower than they were, and now they're starting to produce decent wrestling shows. Regardless of what the numbers and the ratings and their views are doing, they're still putting on pretty good shows, and I hear that from a lot of people in the community. So we are rooting for Impact. How could you root against them, right? Anyway, Sean, 2018, channel member, good to see you. Ben Espinoza is here as well. And anybody that I might have missed, hello and welcome. I do not want to keep you guys waiting. Since this pay-per-view is close to 3 hours, we need to get going here. So as I have been flapping my delicious gums, hopefully you guys have gone over to your Peacocks, pulled up Royal Rumble 1996, and you got your fingers on the triggers. I've got to do a dual mouse thing so I can start the timer and start the pay-per-view at the same time. And I've got a 99.5% success rate. I've only fucked up once or twice, and that's it. We should be good. All right, I am ready to go. I'm queued up and ready. So we will start counting down. You guys ready? Get your Peacocks ready. It's time for Royal Rumble 1996. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. It's always so nerve-wracking. Ooh, who's in the tub? It's got to be Sonny. Who's in the tub? Hi, Sonny. I used to like you back then. 27 years ago, she was not so bad. Nowadays, she's a fucking piece of shit. Hi, Sonny. Go fuck off. Oh, I missed the old voiceover guy. He passed away, I think maybe like 5 to 10 years ago. I don't remember when. Forgot his name even, but I did hear about his passing. In the World Wrestling Federation. Now, this was right after Brett beat Diesel at Survivor Series. We watched that back in November with that table bump right there. That match was the pay-per-view before that bloody battle with Davey that I liked more than their SummerSlam match. One of my favorite Brett matches of all time was that In Your House against Bulldog. And another thing you got to think about, too, this was a very interesting match because WWE had, Undertaker and Brett, that is, WWE had really tried hard in 93, 94 of 95 of trying to keep Undertaker away from the title, keep him occupied with Giant Gonzalez feuds and feuds with the $1 Million Corporation and Yokozuna and casket matches and all this stuff because back then you didn't do a whole lot of babyface matches and Undertaker was so unbeatable that if you didn't plan to put the belt on him, you couldn't put him in any title matches because he would have to win. You don't want to beat him, but you don't want to beat your champion either. So they always kind of kept Undertaker away from the title. And here we go, Brett versus Taker. And here's Vader. Look at that. Vader just came in. I forgot Mabel was even in this thing. I miss that old WWE production music. There we saw Ringmaster. This was the first pay-per-view that I remember. It might have happened prior to this on TV. But this is the first pay-per-view that they refer to the Ringmaster as Steve Austin. It was right after he said, I don't want that name anymore. And when he makes his entrance here, I remember Vince saying, Steve Austin, otherwise known as the Ringmaster. And I remember hearing that night on commentary and be like, holy shit, he just called the Ringmaster Steve Austin. So that's a personal memory I have of watching that night. Man, they got this shitty Royal Rumble music. I liked the one before. Yeah, business was not wonderful at this time. Fresno is where Dynamite, I believe, is this week. I think I know at least 2 people going to that show. Look at Mr. Perfect. He just came back into the company as well. New generation era, underrated. It wasn't bad at all. Hey, at the time, dude, I was into it. I don't know how I managed to still have a social life and a girlfriend in high school liking this type of shit back then. But I did. I mean, I was a senior in 1994, and that was some of the worst times in wrestling in terms of like the goofy gimmicks and shit, you know. But I was tuned in every Monday night, every Saturday morning, and always. I mean, I've always had a big percentage of me that's a dork, but looking back, I'm like, I cannot believe at my age I was watching this shit, finding it entertaining, but I was. Guilty as charged. And this was weird, too, because Jarrett had just come back. Jarrett had left in the summer at In Your House after losing to Sean in a snit or something. And then they bring him back in here for like 3.5 days, and then he leaves again. Then he's off to WCW. So we're opening up here with Jarrett and Ahmed. This was set up at the In Your House prior. And Jarrett's got his little light-up jacket, and he's back in the WWE. 1 year before, at this very show, he won the Intercontinental title. And here he is. He's a guy that's just come back in and is only here for a minute. Reminds me of the Iron Sheik, after Iron Sheik and Hacksaw got pulled over. The Sheik came back for like a month. He was on TV and then gone again. So Jarrett pulling an Iron Sheik. Yeah, things would get better. I think things were still not great here, but I think after like WrestleMania and after that, they did what they could with it. Undertaker and Mankind feud really helped in '96 because Brett was gone. So Max is right on that one. They had some good stuff, but they also had some not so good stuff. And some stuff that when you compared it to what WCW was doing and the type of numbers and attention that they were getting, WWE was way behind. I didn't like it as a fan, but it was true. By the way, cheers. I already opened up my beer when we were right before we went live because I needed to take a sip before I started speaking. And so I had to, usually I wait to open it, but I had to open it early. How Wheezy. Appreciate that $5, man. Good to see you. What goofy 1994 gimmicks are you referring to from back then? Okay, well, let me think. 1994. Let's just think. Bob Sparkplug Holly. Jerry the King Lawler. Stupid gimmick. 94. Who the hell was on the roster at 94? Doink was still around in 94. Men on a Mission was ridiculous. Who else did we have? Who else? That was a terrible charge by Ahmed. Terrible charge. Lazy work. Isaac Yankem wasn't there yet. Isaac Yankem came in 95. And then 95, and then 96 is where it got really bad because they hadn't even brought in the Smoky Mountain people yet. 96 is where T.L. Hopper would come in. Freddie Joe Floyd, Salvatore Sincere. Who else? They had like 3 or 4 guys they brought in. They put Jim Neidhart under a mask, called him Who. Dean Douglas would come in. Well, Dean Douglas was here now. So there was plenty of stupid gimmicks. Plenty of them. Duke the Dumpster Drosy, Quang, Mantar, Adam Bomb, Bastion Booger. There you go. Mantar might not have been there yet. Mantar came in 95. Or no, Mantar's here. I think Mantar's already gone, Kelvin. Quang might be gone too. But he was around in 94. And then they repackaged him as Sabio. Adam Bomb is a really good one, though. Body Donnas were ridiculous. And, of course, Duke the Dumpster Drosy would be feuding with Triple H. He had a match on the free-for-all against Triple H, a match that I have recorded on the because that night that I was at my parents' house watching this, I taped it. Ray Franz Shane had already left and went back to ECW. Well, he must have done it quick. I know he was gone by this point, but he must have left right after. I mean, he wrestled at Survivor Series in November, so if he was already back in ECW, that was a 2-month turnaround for him. IRS was still around. Good point. That's right. And that one I always hated because Mike Rotundo had already had a track record in WWE. He was a champion with Barry Windham in the 80s. And so when they repackaged him, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with Vince? It's a shame they could never get Barry and Rotundo back in the company together again and tag them up in the 90s. If they could have gotten the Widowmaker, who would, or not the Widowmaker, but the Stalker, who would be in later this year. They could have got him a year or two earlier. But Windham and Rotundo back together. Have them come out to Real American, win the tag team titles. That's how you do it. Now, this is just a compelling, fascinating match here. So far, the best thing is Ahmed Johnson's wedgie. Big wedgie. That's what you call a wedgie Jackson. Or a wedgie Miller. Man Mountain Rock. Good one, Kelvin. Although, Man Mountain Rock, I want that guitar. Where is that WWF guitar? If anybody finds it, I won't pay anything for it, but I'll pay a substantial amount if that guitar can be found. That would look great on the fucking wall mounted up there. Oh, my God. I had high hopes for Ahmed when he came in. I thought WWE needed guys, and when I saw him at the Survivor Series, I'm like, oh, he's a big fella. He keeps working out. He'll eventually look just like me. I mean, he's that big. God, Ahmed. Jesus Christ. He had that spring in his step where he could do stuff like that. That wouldn't last, though. Ahmed would lose that ability. But a few months later, he would win the Intercontinental title from Goldust, and he would do the same spot, like over the top. He would dive all the way over the ring post, is what I'm trying to say. He would constantly risk his life like that. No training. See a wrestler do that today in AEW. Oh, my God. He tried to do the Booker T thing. Ahmed just does not know what he's doing. I'm sorry. Put Ahmed in an AEW ring and watch those crazy motherfuckers go nuts on him. It's so botches. Tony Khan puts inexperienced people in the ring. I'm like, bitch, look what Vince was doing in 1996, putting this guy in there. Ahmed needed a solid year at the PC before he got in there, and he was in there wrestling on pay-per-views and winning championships. I can't even really think. I liked Ahmed's look. His physique, his size, his presence was all there. Not much of a promo, and I can't think of a single match of his that I thought was like really good. Maybe the best match he ever had was with Dustin at the King of the Ring when he won the IC title, but even that one wasn't that good. Maybe it was good for Ahmed, but Dustin probably carried that. But at the time, when I was watching this, I was really hopeful that WWE had found a Goldberg in Ahmed Johnson. I didn't know what Goldberg was yet, but I think the way Goldberg got over in WCW is the way maybe Vince was hoping Ahmed would get over in WWE. And I was kind of getting there. I was on the bus, but I jumped off the bus. All right, here comes the finish. Jeff Jarrett's on the top rope with the guitar. Ugh. Isn't it crazy that not 4 days ago I was sitting right in the arena and I watched that dude deliver a guitar shot? How crazy is that? He hit fucking Stingray from Cobra Kai in the head with a guitar. Yeah, Rotundo jumped over to WCW in like late 95 or 96, right? This VK Wall Street. So him and the Stalker just missed. They traded. Would have been really cool to get them back together. Oh, here comes Ahmed running. All right, so Jarrett and Ahmed. I like how they stop running when they get to the curtain. Fucking another balsa wood guitar needlessly ruined. ESPN is notifying me of something. Alabama men's basketball forward Darius Miles charged with Okay. That sucks. Oh, Big Daddy Cool.
You know, if I had to make an analogy, I guess it's like
We gotta stand like Big Daddy Cool.
Dad have finally decided to leave me at home alone. They're backing down the driveway. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I know I'm about to have the time of my life.
Yeah, Diesel.
Well, your best friend, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, returns. There's a man named Vader who you've never faced
A
before.
man named Vader. Diesel's like, I know who Vader is.
I mean, Shawn Michaels came out last year and did what nobody else has done. You know, he lasted the entire Rumble. You know, Vader, he's a big guy. But as far as I'm concerned, he's unproven in these waters. He's got to prove himself first in the World Wrestling Federation.
He's unproven in these waters. True.
You know, I just looked at my watch. It doesn't look like Vader time to me. It looks like Big Daddy Cool.
Let me ask you, Diesel. Let's say you become the winner of the WWF Royal Rumble match here tonight. Who are you going to face? Bret the Hitman Hart, The Undertaker? Any preference there at all?
You know, a lot of people are, you know, this whole thing with The Undertaker. I don't have a problem with The Undertaker. The problem I had was him being the #1 contender.
Did they give Ahmed's theme to Ezekiel? I don't think they did.
You know, hey, I hope they have a hell of a match, but as far as I'm concerned, neither one of them can match up to the Big D.
Big Daddy Cool says it's going to be Diesel time tonight. Let's get it back.
I love Kevin Nash. He's the fucking best. Like, I can see Vince McMahon getting those two confused, but there's not. I don't consider Ezekiel and Ahmed even close to the same person. Ezekiel had a lot more height, a lot more size. I think Ezekiel was kind of overall maybe even a little bit better in the ring and in better shape than Ahmed. Here comes Skip and oh, look at him! Wow, he looks young. Skip and Zip. You got to be shitting me. So another funny thing about Skip and Zip because Skip was already there with Sonny when they brought Chris and Tammy in, and they did their thing for a while. And then one day I'm turning on WWF, whatever the fuck, on the weekend, and I see this team. And I just told the story last week where I discovered the Quebecers the same way too. One day I just turned on TV and there was 2 Mounties. And then same thing here. One day I just turned on TV and there's 2 Skips. And then when I look closely and I look at who Zip is, I'm like, oh my God, it's Dr. Tom. Shave his head and stick him in another tag team. Yeah, Zach, that Darius Miles shit just came on my phone. Never even heard of the kid. He's a forward for Alabama basketball team. Capital murder, fatally shooting a 23-year-old woman. Holy shit. Rotten hell, Darius. Lock him up and throw away the key. Look at Billy. Holy shit. There's already been 2 people on the show that was in the building the other night when I was there at the Forum. Billy Gunn and Jeff Jarrett. Smoke it. They haven't. Did they start the shit with Sonny and Billy yet, or would that come later? That might come later. My favorite Sonny moment of all time, like of everything Sonny has ever done in her life, my favorite is King of the Ring '96 and her cowgirl outfit. Nothing better. There's nothing she did, said, or wore in WWE that I thought was hotter than that in her whole time there. And that's when she managed the Guns for a while. Then she would go manage like Phineas and what's his face. She's managing everybody. It's like the tag team slut. Yeah, sure, innocent until proven guilty, but that's a very specific thing to be charged with, and he either did it or he was framed, or they've got the wrong guy. What do you think is the likely outcome there? Of course he's innocent until proven guilty, but sometimes you can have a video of somebody committing the crime, and you'll still have somebody going, innocent until proven guilty. I'm like, well, he's right there on video doing it. So I'm pretty sure they would not charge him without overwhelming evidence. And without knowing anything about the story, I highly doubt Darius is being done wrong in any way. But if he is, then may he get out and be free for the rest of his life. But if I'm a betting man, oh, there goes Billy. Oh, yeah, Marlena. Yeah, Marlena came in. And Billy is such a big guy, too. Jeez. And Billy really hadn't found his niche, you know, in terms of what good shape he was in. I mean, Bart was always the jacked one. You know, when I looked at the Smoking Guns back in the day, Bart always looked like the way stronger guy. Billy was starting to get a little more jacked here, but like when the Guns first started, he was not in very good shape. And then he would really get ripped and jacked when he came back as Rockabilly and then joined DX, and then he was a horse every day after that. Still is. Yeah, Ken Webb. I'd be into King of the Ring 96 this summer. That would be good. We are Pro Wrestling Sunny at WrestleMania 14. See, that didn't do it for me. I thought she was kind of already abusing too many substances. Let's just say that. You could see it in her eyes. There was bags under those eyes, man. Sunny was living a hard life. Nothing beats that King of the Ring 96, man. That's the winner. I mean, the WrestleMania 14 outfit was hot, don't get me wrong, but it didn't do it for me the way the King of the Ring one did. I don't recall hearing anything about Bart not being liked by those in power. What the fuck did Bart do? They were in the same team. They were pushed the same way. Billy. I think between the two of them, they figured Billy is the better heel. And then when he went heel and he got an opportunity just to fall ass backwards into that team with Road Dogg that then got him that opportunity in DX, it wasn't because he was preferred by management. It's because that's the way the chips fell. But Bart, I think, maybe fell out of favor once Butterbean knocked him out. But I was pretty keyed into the behind-the-scenes stuff at this time, and I never heard any stories about Bart being difficult to deal with for management. That story, I must have missed that one. Love hearing the back and forth between Hennig and Vince. Good stuff. Oh, heart attack. Ooh, look at the Smoking Guns hitting the Hart Foundation finisher. Of course, they're not going for a pin. That's a finisher there, Billy. Sonny, get down or stay there. Either way, it's fine with me. Here, Sonny's going to take a spill. There she goes. Ooh. Went down hard, too. You okay, Sonny? Oh, look, she's like, ow, ow. Yeah, Billy was still over 2 years away from joining DX, you got to remember. They didn't officially join D-Generation X until the night after WrestleMania 14 in 1998, and we are early 96 here. So Billy's got 2 years and 3 months until he's going to be a DXer and sucking it and all that stuff. Oh, yeah, Dr. Death kind of derailed Bart Gunn a little bit, too. Skip with a dive. Candido was so good. It's a shame this is the gimmick he was given in WWE. It was kind of funny, too, when WWE and ECW had that brief working agreement, and you would see Rob Van Dam on Raw, and Lawler and Cornette and somebody else, I think, went to ECW show. But one cool thing that happened was on Raw in 97, about a year and a half after this, Candido, who had left the company, Skip was no more. He was back in ECW as Candido. He came and wrestled a match on Raw as Chris Candido. And I don't remember who he worked with. It might have been like Brian Christopher. I can't remember. And Heyman was like, he talked about it. He was like, this guy left to the World Wrestling Federation because of a stupid-ass gimmick or whatever he said. It was really cool. And like back in those days, you just weren't seeing stuff like that. And it was crazy. Motown Slim, welcome to the family. Very happy you're here. Thanks for joining, becoming a member. Very cool. We got a members-only watch-along coming up this month before the month is over. Next week, we'll do another Royal Rumble watch-along, but the week after that is the day after this year's Royal Rumble. I don't think we're going to do a watch-along because that's Championship Sunday, and 2 football games determine the Super Bowl. So we might not do a watch-along the day after the Royal Rumble in 2 weeks. Might have to do something else. But some people don't care about football. Maybe we can still do one. I just think people's eyes are going to be on other things that night. Might be a good one to take off. Hitting the like button would be helpful, too. Also, if any of you guys have not looked at my Dynamite review from this past Wednesday, it premiered on the channel this morning while I was sound asleep. I have no idea how it even performed. It's got under 1,000 views on it. But I was able to finally post a good 35-minute review of my experience at the show. There's a lot of footage and stuff of some of the pictures I took and people I met, things like that. So that is up on the channel now, right under the latest content playlist. It's right there, where I talk about the return of Adam Cole, the Elite, MJF, Konosuke, Takeshita, Danielson, Saraya, No Mercedes Moné, Tony Khan, Ruby Soho and her Ruby mask. All that stuff is discussed in the review, so check it out. Or at least give it a like and help it out. Give it some engagement, help push it a little bit. Because the thing that sucks about edited and uploaded reviews, it's a lot of work for a low payoff. But I'm going to have a big video for WrestleMania. I'm going to make sure I take lots of footage and document my experience there as much as I can. That way, when I come home, it'll probably take me a whole week to do. But when I come home, I can put a really nice video together on YouTube for you guys of WrestleMania week. Did all 3 of them crackheads? Yeah, Sonny managed Body Donnas, Godwins, Smoking Guns, and LOD 2000. The Donnas, Godwins, and Guns were all within one summer, or were all within a few months. Because if I remember right, I'm pretty sure that Skip and Zip win the tag team titles at WrestleMania. They win them on the pre-show. Because if memory serves, I'm pretty sure that Billy Gunn gets hurt. Smoking Guns, I don't think work WrestleMania. I think Billy gets hurt. They do a tournament, and Skip and Zip win that tournament. I think against the Godwins. And I think that's on the free-for-all of WrestleMania. Oh, yeah, and the Claims 2 Takes Rap. Thank you, Juliet. That's on the review as well. Luckily, I recorded Max Caster's fuck-up, which was hilarious. And there we go. That's the finisher. They've hit one of them with it. They've hit Zip. Here comes Skip from the top. Oh, no. No! Are they going to win the titles? I don't think they win the titles. Oh, Bar kicked out. I was about to say, I don't think... Danny Rax, runtime on the Rumble on Peacock, 2 hours, 49 minutes, 17 seconds. Just under 3 hours. Yes, Vikings, next, in 2 weeks, I am going to be reacting to the Royal Rumble, this year's Royal Rumble, which will make up for no watch-along that next day when it's Championship Sunday. All right, Guns win. I don't know if they did a double pin there, if it was Bart that pinned Skip, but Smoking Guns are still your World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions. Isn't that great? I don't recall when Billy got hurt. I know Billy would work that Raw Bowl shit. Unless they already did the Raw Bowl. They might have already done the Raw Bowl. Unless the Raw Bowl's tomorrow. I don't know. Ooh, I remember something else. The night after this pay-per-view on Raw was when they announced the Ultimate Warrior's return to the company. They didn't announce it here. But Vince, at the beginning of Raw, he says, and what about the Ultimate Warrior? And they show a video of the Warrior, and I'm like, what the hell? Ooh, look at here. These had just started, too. I think this was the first one. Billionaire Ted. Now, Vince Russo's in here. There he is. All we got are the disloyal, greedy. Hulk's like, yeah, who you calling a has-been? Besides, I started in the 70s, not the 80s. That's hilarious. Okay, this isn't the first one. Are they going to show them all here? Nacho. Some aerial tactics. Huh. What can you boys do? You can't teach an old dog new tricks, guys. The new WWF generation. On top of the hill, not over it. That's the best. You know Vince is dying. Hey, Huckster, how about if we call you the boy toy? That's good. I like it. Those were very good. It was funny, though, in a couple of those Billionaire Ted skits, they were showing, like, moves from Razor Ramon and Diesel. I'm like, well, they're going to be there soon. So if you want to get those type of moves, you can. Oh, there's the Raw Bowl. So the Raw Bowl happened a few weeks before this. Oh, yeah, Razor was getting flowers and all this nonsense. Oh, look at this. Perfecto and Razor reunited from the AWA. Oh, now a centerfold, too. That little bellhop guy looks like that little fucker that would come in and do the game show skits and stuff in WWE. Henry Winklefauser or something, whatever guy's name is. Is the source of his desire the machismo of Razor or the Intercontinental belt? Ooh, a tattoo of his Latin lover's name. The Mad. Oh, this was pretty good. I remember this. He beat the shit out of Goldust here. Watch this spot. He throws him into something here. Like that's a pretty good bump. He hits him on like an electrical box or something, and Goldust just bumps. Hopefully they show it. Oh, he got a low blow in. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, that one. There's the electrical box bump. Dustin could bump. Shout out to Dustin Rhodes. Mother just passed away this week. Much love to Dustin. Unfortunately, Dustin did not have a match on Rampage or SmackDown, or Dynamite or Dark when I was there. So Dustin is another name that is in AEW, but is one that I did not see. Andy Linnell, no, I have not got my WrestleMania tickets, but I'm doing that like literally as we speak. I've been looking now, trying to get an idea how many nights I want to get a hotel, that type of stuff. I'd say latest is another week. I'm in no real rush to do it. I want to get the hotel booked more than anything else. Tickets I can pick up anytime. But I am making the plans this week. I meant to do it in January, and we got 2 weeks left in the month, so I'll be doing it very soon. But I think I'll be up there for a minimum of 3 days. Maybe even an extra one somewhere in there, not sure. Would love to hang out with people if you guys are going to go. I'll let you know where I'm staying once I know. Yeah, we heard like Hall was uncomfortable doing this angle with Goldust. It was just still all a little too risque for the time, I guess, especially with everything they're hinting with Goldust. But even in Razor's promos on Raw, he was saying, like, I got kids at home and I don't want them to see this or whatever. I'm like, brother, you're going to wind up doing much worse in your life that your kids are going to have to see. I wouldn't worry too much about that, but... Oh, yeah, this is Marlena's debut, right? Who is this woman that he's with? I forgot. This is Marlena's debut. Sucking on a cigar. Cornette put up a mini Russo rant video yesterday. Good for Cornette. I do not listen to Jim Cornette anymore. I like him. He's got great things to say, but he's just so fucking angry. And now he just does everything for the bottom of the barrel listeners he seems to have. And now he's almost like a parody of himself because everything has to be so over the top because everybody that listens to him whacks off to it for some reason. I think they have trouble putting their own words and sentences together, so they feed off and live vicariously through his. But if he wants to sit there and tell stories from when he started in the 80s and the NWA and his days managing the Rock and Roll Express and WWE stories and crazy Vince stories, I'll listen all day. But unfortunately, he is one of the driving forces in the tribal war out there, and he's one of the guys that pours gasoline on the fire. And so I just choose to eliminate that from my life. So I don't listen to Jim Cornette, unfortunately, anymore. I like to try to separate myself from the I speak facts crowd, that's out there. You just don't like it that I speak the truth. That type of attitude, I'm going to tell you, is never going to get you laid. I'll tell you. I promise you. So have at it if that's what you want to do, but it makes you look like a douche. So I don't ever want to come up on YouTube and say, I know better than anybody else, and everybody else a fucking idiot. We had a president that did that once. Forget his name. Dave Trump, something like that, whatever his name was. Childish, insecure little bitch, and he was horrible. And I don't ever want to be like that. Timmy White caught a glimpse. You know what's weird about it's Mankind and Razor Ramon. So like when Mankind won the title in 99, they spiced up his theme. They gave him a new theme. And it had like those screeching tires. And Razor had the screeching tires, but for some reason, my ears don't pick that up. Like Razor's theme all those years, I never knew that beginning was screeching tires. I never knew that's what it was. I just thought it was some weird sound before his song played. And then Mankind is like the same thing. The only reason you knew his was screeching tires is because the Titantron video had the car smashing into whatever. But my ears aren't hearing screeching tires. They're hearing just a high-pitched squeak or something, and it wasn't registering with my brain that it was tires. All those years listening to Razor Ramon's theme, I just thought it was some weird other noise. Fun fact glimpse into Greg's life. Razor did have a cool pyro setup. One of my favorites was the previous year on Raw, maybe a few months before this. He worked with Sid, and Sid, I think it was an Intercontinental title match, and Sid came jumping through the fireworks and like attacked Razor from behind. It was a cool looking spot, and it looked great on TV. Yeah, and another thing, We Are Pro Wrestling, I'm not sure what you're referencing here. Trying to see what you're referencing. But yeah, Razor, right after this, he would be suspended. Now, I can't remember, We Are Pro Wrestling, you might know what he got suspended for. I think on TV they were saying like it was unprofessional conduct or something like that. But much like what happened with the Ultimate Warrior later on, a few months later, when he would get suspended, they had already taped a bunch of matches in the can. As a matter of fact, I think now it's coming back to me, when Billy Gunn got hurt and they had that tag team title tournament, Razor teamed with Savio in that tournament. So after he was suspended, they had to feature on TV in a tag team match in the tournament. And I think Vince explained it like he was contractually obligated, even though he's suspended, which is bullshit. So they had to do it, and they would do the same thing with the Warrior. Warrior worked with like Owen Hart on Raw after he was suspended and let go by the WWE because he was contractually obligated to appear, when really it was because WWE was cheap and they taped 9 weeks in a row back then in those days. So Razor would get suspended. During this time, I think that's when he was pretty much out the door heading to WCW. He missed WrestleMania. He was supposed to work a rematch with Goldust, and he didn't. Piper got that match instead. And then Razor, this would be it. Razor would work here. He'd work the Crybaby match the next month against Kid. Then he'd be suspended, I guess. And then right after WrestleMania at Good Friends, Better Enemies, they brought him in to job to Vader on the pay-per-view, and he was gone. Then he finished out the live events. Curtin called it, and he was on Nitro a couple of days later. So he was on his way out. Razor is 5 months away from showing up draped in denim on Nitro. Hey, you know who I am. All that stuff. 5 months away. Victor, you said members. I sent you a members super chat. Oh, sorry. I just haven't scrolled up there and knocked any of those out. Oh, there it is. Thanks for that. What do you think of this for a watch-along, a WCW Nitro show, the Nitro when Goldberg wrestled Hogan for the title? That would be a good one. I'd be into that. I need to make a list of Nitros, memorable Nitros to do, so we can try to time them during whatever part of the year we're in. But that's a good one. That's a good one for a members only, because that's only a 2-hour show, probably less than that on Peacock when you minus out the commercials. So it would be too short to do on one of our regular ones, but it could definitely do it for a member, for sure. If he loses the title, he'll be the sad guy. Isn't it hilarious that Razor Ramon has never competed in a Royal Rumble, but fake Razor Ramon has? Fake Razor would be in the following year's Rumble. And Razor would defend the Intercontinental title. Razor had a title match every year. Brett 93 for the world title. IRS, Jarrett, and Goldust all for the IC in 94, 5, and 6. Oh, here we go. That's awesome. That is, I think even Hennig's laughing. He goes, I cannot believe. Vince, that was a little different. Oh, Vince, don't pretend like you don't know what that's like. This man is cagey. I mean, if you think about it, it would be a really good strategy. If you've got, like, a homophobic champion, I'd try to be as gay around him as possible in the match. Freak him out, get in his head. Like, Goldust's wife is on the outside of the ring. He's just messing with Razor. He's tapping into that fear that so many have. That just talking to a gay guy means dildos are going to come flying at their face or something. I'd tap into that shit too, and I'd make the dude so damn uncomfortable, psych him out. Smart, mind games. Psychological warfare. Fucking with him, getting in his head, throwing him off, affecting his judgment, clouding his instincts. And that's when you take advantage and win a title. So if you're ever in a fight with some dude, just act real gay. He'll freak out and run away. Oh, Chris Miner, I missed that super chat earlier. Thank you for that, dude. Appreciate that $2. Sup, Greg? You've been warned. What a tagline. Yeah. I don't think I got that one earlier. I'm sorry. Oh, he slapped him on the ass. Nice. He likes it. He does like it. Goldust likes it. Yeah. Razor's like, the hell with this. This is great. This is much more fun to watch 27 years later. Victor, I think I saw your super chat, man. I mean, the one that you just said was, did I miss one or something? As far as I know, I got you, but if I missed one, I'll go find it. He's holding Marlena, typical. Marlena, you are no Elizabeth. I was like, that's Alexander York. Yeah, I can't believe 2003 Royal Rumble's 20 years ago either. That's crazy. Alan Barkley catching up as we have a very awesome 69 watchers in here right now. Hey, welcome to the family, Titanium Titan. Thank you very much for joining and becoming a member. Thank you very much and welcome. Glad you're here. There is a members-only post up right now in the community tab where you can submit a question for our Q&A that we're going to do on the 26th, Thursday before Royal Rumble. Channel members get first dibs. So send your question, put it in the comments of that post. You'll be able to see it, and I'll make sure I get to it on Q&A day. I love that she's just this lady. We don't know who she is. She's just a lady with a great rack. That's all we know about her. In a gold outfit and a cigar. Yeah, she should bring the computer to the ring. Yeah, she was like a businesswoman in WCW. Or some sort of manager. And then here in WWE, she's a director in a director's chair. She's very versatile. We all love Terry. Terry's interacted with me a couple of times on Twitter. I can't remember about what. I know I've talked to her a couple times. That was a clothesline. That was a great clothesline. I mean, the funny thing is this match on paper is incredible. I mean, Dustin Rhodes and Scott Hall is a match. They're both really, really good wrestlers. And they're both kind of similar. Both good size, both tall, both about 270, 280. Scott's in way better physical shape, but they're about probably equal in the ring. I would put their wrestling abilities really equal to one another. Who do you think? Who do you think's better in the ring, Dustin or Scott? I mean, if I had to give the nod to one guy, I would probably give it to Dustin by a point, but not by much. I think Dustin's longevity, his family history and his experience is going to give him the nod over Razor just a bit because, Scott Hall, Dustin was able to recover from his most of his demons. Scott struggled a little longer than he did. Oh, so you guys are saying Scott. I think in the ring, fundamentally, I kind of think Dustin's a hair better. But like I said, it's very close in my mind. So if you guys are going to say Scott, it's tough to argue. Especially when I just got done saying they're very similar and equal. Scott had a better look. Scott had the body. I don't think anybody will consider Dustin a handsome man. Dustin is horrific looking, where Scott is quite handsome, and he knows it. So I think Scott probably gets more attention in the bar than Dustin, but I'm still giving Dustin just a little bit of a nod on the wrestling. He's Dusty's kid. That should automatically qualify him. I mean, hell, not only I think are they very similar in terms of their wrestling ability, they're very evenly matched. They're evenly matched in terms of what they accomplished in their careers. I mean, you could argue that maybe Scott Hall, accomplished more because he was a part of the NWO and he did have some IC runs in WWE, but so did Goldust. But maybe Razor was slightly more of a bigger star, and he probably definitely made more money than Dustin. For sure made more money than Dustin, probably a lot more money than Dustin. But in terms of their accomplishments, their overall career accomplishments, Intercontinental, neither one of them ever won the world title. They each had a couple of shots, all fell short. Multiple runs with the IC. Dustin had runs with the US, and so did Scott. They've both been tag champs in both companies. Or not Scott. They were both on the plane ride from hell together. Both got fired. So they have that in common. Never really thought about that before, but they're kind of equal. Edge is the 2K showcase for 2K23. What does showcase mean? The cover? Isn't that a curse? Or is that football that it's a curse? I don't play video games, so I don't know about these 2K games. I read all the criticisms and the reviews of them, though. Tatanani, I'm pretty sure Scott Hall was U.S. champion. Wasn't he? I think he was. I don't remember who he beat or something, but I swear Scott Hall was U.S. champ at some point in WCW, yes. 99, says Victor. And I'm pretty sure Dustin was U.S. champ in his natural days, right? Maybe like 91, 92, somewhere in there. Do I have that right? Oh, nice low blow by Razor. Shutting it down. Hey, Chico, you ever hear of blue balls? I'm going to give them to you hard way. As in bruised balls. Here you go. I'm going to take my toothpick and poke you in your balls. No, he did not get him, Vince. Vince always thinks it's a 3 count every time. This woman is concerned, guys. This woman, whoever she is, on the outside of the ring, she looks concerned. Choke slam. Dustin. God, Dustin, you can see a lot of his package. Referee out of position. Scott Hall was out of position. Scott Hall just had to cover him. Don't criticize Tim White, Vince McMahon. I love that Mr. Perfect used the Vienna Boys Choir line because that line has been used on him before when he used to take post crotch bumps all the time in his matches with Brett. Oh, she twisted her ankle. Oh, are you okay? Marlena. Wait, this woman, excuse me, this stranger. Oh, here comes X-Pac. What's he going to do? Oh, yeah, he's going to... Oh, spin kick from the top. And a cover. Oh, no. 2 years in a row. Razor's going to drop. I mean, technically 3 years in a row. They did a false finish in 94, too, and had Irwin celebrate with the title. Royal Rumble was not kind to Razor, man. And Goldust is the Intercontinental Champion. As a fan watching this, I knew this was going to happen. You could tell. You knew the previous year that Jeff Jarrett was going to win, too. I could just feel it. And plus, the rumors were already running about Hall and Nash leaving and heading to WCW. So I was expecting the Goldust to win this. The tongue kiss there was nice. And we got a new Intercontinental Champion, the natural Dustin Rhodes, who the last time he was at the Royal Rumble was the Royal Rumble we watched last week in 91 when he teamed up with Dusty and got beat by DiBiase and Virgil. Gold standard. No, Goldust was not a face here. He was a heel. No, 1-2-3 Kid is a heel. 1-2-3 Kid recently turned heel against Razor. And he came and helped Goldust win the title here. And then the following month, Kid and Razor would wrestle in that Crybaby match. Poor Razor. Dropped the IC. The 1-2-3 Kid really connecting. Ooh. Oh, Dr. Jeffrey Unger. Oh, he's going to tell us that Sean's ready. He looks like he's about to draw the chart of fuck around and find out, doesn't he? Either that or the hot, crazy Matrix. Owen. Yeah, Sean. Yeah, he's going to end your career like you should have done the first time. Jake. Jake was back. Jake. Yeah, they had just brought Jake in and they announced him for the Rumble, bringing in old names. Jake and Warrior came back together, which is kind of crazy. Oh, Lawler's in this thing, of course. Barry Horowitz. He goes, did Barry Horowitz just say he's confident and he's happy? He's confident and he's happy. Here's Vader. Look at him. Yeah. Of course, Jim Cornette's got him. This Mastodon. I'm so glad he's not the Mastodon. If I was in the locker room this time, I definitely would find Shawn Michaels annoying. Yes.
Last year, the Heartbreak Kid and all his fans, now known as the Click, are going to turn the hopes and dreams of a 12-year-old boy into a destiny and a reality. At WrestleMania 12, you'll be looking at the new
JJ Leg, man, thank you for that. I'll answer that in 1 second. I got to hear these Rumble promos first. Triple H #1. Because Hunter lost to Duke the Dumpster Droese. Duke the Dumpster Droese has beaten Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Alex Wright also owns a victory over Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Ultimate Warrior squashed him in 5 seconds. Henry O. Godwin beat him in a hog pen filled with mud and shit. That Helmsley guy, he had a rough go of it for a while there. I don't remember if he went on to do anything big. Hopefully he succeeded. And Hunter Hearst Helmsley has found happiness in life, whatever he's doing today. I don't know, whatever happened to him. But in 95 and 96, man, he was just in these rough matches, losing all the time. humiliating, getting beat up by garbage men and hog farmers and crazy comic book distrucity nut jobs. Everybody was just owning this guy. I think he just left the business, just ran away from the business, and was never seen from again or heard from again. Oh, he used the Nux, or the foreign object. If it would have been a domestic object, would have been fine. Yeah, Duke is 30. Yeah, back in these days, like, number 30s didn't matter so much. I cannot believe that Hillbilly Jim's song that was on a WWF wrestling album is dubbed over on Peacock. I hate Peacock. I hate music rights. I think WWE's so fucking cheap. Say what you want about Tony Khan. Homeboy ain't scared to pay for music, and I wish WWE would do that. Oh, it's so awful. God, that's so horrible. That banjo-ass cousin fucking music. Oh, I'm an idiot. It's kind of not registering to me that we're starting the Royal Rumble right now. I forgot the Royal Rumble is not the main event, Brett, and Undertaker is. So we got the Royal Rumble now. First two are in the ring. JJ Leg, I owe you that response earlier. $10. Thank you so much for that, man. I have an idea. At Elimination Chamber, Roman and Sammy open up for the Universal title, where Sammy loses. But the main event is an EC match for the WWE title, and Sammy costs Roman the WWE title to Seth Rollins. Something like that is going to happen. Sammy, with all of the groundwork they're laying on TV right now that we've seen last night on SmackDown or on Friday on SmackDown, they're definitely setting up for this soon somewhere in the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber vicinity. So whether it happens before one of these pay-per-views or at one of these pay-per-views, it's anybody's guess. Your idea works for me. Heard a lot of rumors about Seth Rollins being rewarded with another title run, but I got a lot of people on my wish list right now. Kevin Owens is on the wish list. Cody's on the wish list. Seth is on the wish list. Oof. A lot of guys I would like to see win the championship. Yeah, how do they not have the rights to Godwin's theme? It's ridiculous. And this thing was, the good thing about this, it wasn't quite as predictable as the year before, because this year, Diesel is in it, Vader is in it, Yoko is in it. And the previous year just felt like it was all about Shawn. Pamela Anderson was the focal point of all that. And here comes Bob Backlund. Just a little over a year removed from winning the title himself back in late '94. He's coming out to presidential music now. Backlund was actually a potential winner the previous year, but he's not. And he had a great showing, I think, in '93. He's a graduate of Princeton. No, I don't believe he is. Backlund is a weirdo, that's for sure. Yes, Ray Frand, you are right about that. This is the first ever Royal Rumble where they came out to their theme. Which the funny thing is I thought about that before this, like 2 or 3 years before. I remember having the thought as a kid or as a fan thinking, what would happen if they played everybody's theme music when they came out? And then 2 or 3 years later, however long it was after I thought about that, they did it. But I definitely already had that in my head prior to this happening, so. Yeah, Backlund did appear in the Royal Rumble in 2000 as well. We just watched that a couple of weeks ago, and he just wandered off into the crowd, didn't he? Got eliminated and just disappeared. Yeah, We Are Pro Wrestling. Whoever WWE gets sold to and wherever they land, hopefully whoever owns them we'll put everything as close to its original form as possible, but I'm not holding my breath on that. Jerry Lawler, and he's got that mullet out the back. It's 96, bro. I guess mullets were still happening, but man, his just looks so terrible. People just love him. I hated his outfit. Now, look, we got a big part of Survivor Series 95 in here. Hunter and King were on a team against Godwin. Andy Linnell, do we really think that Vince is selling WWE? WWE is telling us they're selling WWE. There's nothing to believe. It's happening. What the hell? That's exactly what strategic alternatives means. It means that they are shopping for a buyer. So, yes, we absolutely do think that Vince McMahon is selling WWE. These aren't rumors. These aren't hearsay. This is coming directly from WWE and Vince's own mouth. So, yes, they absolutely are selling the company. We've been hearing about this for years. We knew it was coming. It's still possible they don't. Oh, they got... Ew, that's gnarly. Ew. Ew, what's in the slop bucket? Like, for real slop? There was an In Your House, it was like 3 months before this. Maybe it was the October one. And they slopped DiBiase. And just like the way all the shit came out of the bucket, it had this little like tree or this little twig growing out of the back that looked like it was growing out of the back of DiBiase. It was like a happy accident. I remember even Vince on commentary was like, what the fuck is that? Oh, so good. Hey, guys, it's time to start your engines. You want to know why? Because Bob Holly's coming to the ring. Bob Holly is a two-sport athlete. Bob Holly not only is a talented performer here in the World Wrestling Federation, but he's also a very skilled NASCAR race driver. And he goes in a circle over and over and over again really fast. It's hard to turn left for 2 hours. But it can be done. Ken Webb, kayfabe brother. Thank you, man. Appreciate you joining up. Taking in a few channel members on this stream, which is kind of cool. We are here every Sunday for classic pay-per-view watch-alongs, unless there is a current pay-per-view we need to watch, or if it's a holiday. If it's my birthday, if if it's a Super Bowl, things like that, we won't be here. Any other Sunday when there's not shit going on, we're here watching a classic pay-per-view from the past. We've been at this for about 1.5 years now. It's been fun. Oh, oof. And it's been a Sunday tradition here on the channel. I would like the audience to grow, but I like the intimate audience. We're always somewhere in between 50 and 100 people in here in the chat. I would like to triple that if possible, but, you know, take what you can get, and you guys are awesome, and it's always fun. It's always the same faces here, too. It's like we got our ritual. What we need to do is one of these in person, rent out a movie theater or something. But how would that work? Then you're going to play the pay-per-view on the screen, and then I'm going to sit in the corner on a mic and comment? No, can't do that. We have to all have microphones. Who's coming? Mabel. Do they do... how often do they do the split screen during entrances? I feel like some years they have done it, some years they haven't. Back in the old days, they would have the small box kind of in the corner. So I guess they've always done it, at least in the early days. Yeah, exactly. It'll be like closed circuit television. Here comes Mabel. Isn't that really funny how Henry Godwin just happens to have a middle name that starts with O? So when he's Henry O. Godwin, H-O-G, it happens to spell hog. How lucky they got that he came in, and they're like, what's your name, sir, for his tryout? And he's like, Henry. What's your last name? Godwin. Do you have a middle name? Yeah, it's Orphis. And they're like, holy shit, hog. Like, just so lucky. I don't know how WWE falls into these situations. Vince is signing people. He's like, Jerry the King Lawler. And then after that, Mabel comes in. Hey, Mabel, oh, you're a king too? Oh, I get 2 kings? Okay. This is great. So lucky. 2 kings and a blue blood all in the same match right now. Oh, Backlund's trying to get somebody out. There's a fan in front of the hard cam dressed as The Undertaker, counting down for the next entrant. I'll have to look for him. Oh, it's Jake. And we get that old music. Jake's music was awesome. It's great music. Orenthal or Oscar would have been more believable. Thank you, Gilbert. Step into my orifice. If that's what I think it is. I forgot what pay-per-view it is. It's not this one. That is a real-ass python. Holy shit, that thing's moving. I'm pretty sure it's Survivor Series 1996. And there, that thing is on Lawler. That's so cool. Good to see Jake back. See, I didn't like when they started doing like the yellow snake. And then I swear they were just using a fake rubber one. Because at Survivor Series 96 or whatever pay-per-view it is, I'm trying to remember, or whatever show, Jake comes out with the bag and he throws the snake in the ring, and it's just this long snake just slides in there and stops. Like it doesn't move. It's not moving like that snake was. So that thing's either dead or a big rubber snake. And it was just kind of funny watching the wrestlers react to this thing that's not even moving. It was either a really lethargic snake, or it was old, or it was fake, or it was dead. Ooh, Mabel's tied up in the Andre spot here. By the way, I didn't even show it. We've got Royal Rumble 1996 right here on the good old VHS Coliseum video. You've been warned. Oh, that's the catchphrase. That's what you were referencing earlier. Now that makes sense. Match listing on the back. Oh, we got another person coming down. Who's next? Dory Funk. I forgot he's in this. The previous year, they had Dickie Murdoch. Fucking Dory Funk's in here. So, when he was in 1986, they didn't call him Dory. They called him Hoss Funk. So check out, this also has bonus secret codes and strategic tips for video games from Acclaim. I don't have them up here, but I've got the I got the Sega Royal Rumbles and the video games from this time period. They're in the closet. Cool. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to watch the strategy tips. The King is gone. No, he's not. Oh, they're trying to figure out where Lawler is. I forgot. I think he goes under the ring. Yeah, and the following year, Terry. Exactly, Michael Cuomo. Smart. I mean, Dory was old. I'm trying to think, did WCW ever feature him in one of those Slamborees ever? Those Legends matches or what? Look at this Dory Funk and fucking Bob Backlund. How cool is that? That is very cool. Let's see. Where can we find Backlund working with the Funks? How many run-ins have they had back in the day, back in the 70s? Look at Dory bumping. That ring had no give at all for his old body. It is kind of cool to see Bob Backlund and Dory Funk Jr. I don't know if I appreciated that in 96 or not. Here comes Yoko. Yoko won it the year that Bob Backlund had a pretty good showing in this Rumble. He needs Bosley Medical. Maybe it's by choice. Mine's not by choice either. Oh. Crossface chicken wing applied to Dory. Yoko makes the save. That's something you don't hear every day. Bob Backlund puts a crossface chicken wing on Dory Funk Jr. and Yokozuna makes the save. That's a crazy sentence to say right there. And Backlund's out of there. Goodbye, Backlund. All right, let's take inventory. Henry O. Godwin, Yoko, Mabel, Jake, Dory Funk Jr. and Triple H mixing it up, and Bob Holly with nothing to do. Oh, big Mabel splash there. And I think Yoko knew. He's like, shit, my final days in WWE are going to be putting over the new big guy Vader, who probably at the time, Vince probably figured he'd have to put the belt on, and that was the plan until Shawn Michaels him. You got a DDT chant. I was curious how Jake would look. Oh, big splash. When they announced his return. I was wondering if he would be wearing something. But what's crazy about this, watching Jake in this ring right now, he's 4 years younger than I am right now. But at the time, I thought he was an old-ass man that had no business being inside of a wrestling ring. I'm in better shape than him. Oh, here comes the kid. Oh, Razor's coming after him. This is the closest Razor ever got to a Royal Rumble. Okay, I stand corrected. Razor Ramon has been in a Royal Rumble. He's in one right here. The referees are falling all over each other. This is a mess. Briscoe is out there. Rene Goulet, Tony Gurria still doing their thing. Dave Hebner's out there. All their usual suspects. Timmy White. Referees everywhere. Blackjack Lanza's over there. Holy shit, I miss these days of the agents. If I could, be in one locker room, it would be in the 90s locker room. I would love to be there. I would love the agents. I'd have a great time with Patterson and Briscoe. I'd love everybody. I'd probably even get along with fucking Bruce Pritchard. I'd definitely slap Kevin Dunn. I'd definitely beat up Shawn Michaels. But everybody else, I'd really enjoy being in their company. I tell the Timmy White and some of these referees to teach me how to play these card games they're playing so I can play with them. Like fucking cribbage. What's cribbage? Like the shit you use to make coleslaw? Or that's cabbage. Razor chance here. Kid is still in the ring working with Dory Funk. That's so cool. So cool. Airplane spin from Dory Funk Jr. onto the Kid. Dory could not handle that. He fell over. I love that Dory Funk is proudly rocking the Ernie McCracken hair. Ernie McCracken. Oh. Who is this? Of course. Amore. I don't even remember this guy. And of course, they have to use the Orient Express theme. Didn't we just talk about this? We talked about this last week because it was Orient Express and the Rockers, right? And we joked that every time WWE would have an Asian wrestler featured, they would always use that theme. I rest my case. Holy shit, that's funny. I forgot. I don't even know who this dude is. I forgot he was even in this. I do know that another special entrant is Doug Gilbert, Eddie Gilbert's brother, who won a tournament, I think, in Smoky Mountain or something to qualify or get this match in the Rumble. But I don't recall this All Japan fella. I don't remember his story. Vince, just send him out there to the Orient Express music. How many times they've recycled that theme? Yeah, Bill Nakano, Aja Kong. That's who I'm trying to think of, Ray. So Orient Express, Bull Nakano, Aja Kong, this fella, and I know they've used it another time before, too. I'm surprised they didn't use it for fucking Kai and Tai. But by then, they were getting better about their music. This guy looks like a creator wrestler from 2K. Thank you. Appreciate that. I like to think of myself as a pretty strapping... Oh, you meant him. Oh, shit. Yeah, he does kind of look a little basic. Savio Vega. Jumping Bomb Angels, I'm not sure about. I don't know if that theme existed when the Jumpings were there. But they might have. I don't think they used... I think they did have music. It wasn't Orient Express theme. Orient Express happened after, but not long after. Yeah, because Jumping Bomb Angels were there 88, 89. That was way before the Orient Express's time. Quang, did Quang use it? Or no, Quang's coming in. Savio Vega's in the ring now. Nope, there goes Mabel. I can't believe it. Ken Webb, new channel member. Good to see that new World Order logo next to your name. Didn't Yoko win the Rumble when he debuted? Not when he debuted. Oh, Jake's out. Nope. Fella from All Japan is gone, who somehow has been exterminated from my memory. Completely forgot about him. I'm usually good with these entrants. I remember Dory Funk after I saw him, forgot him for a minute, but once he came out, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. But I do not remember the Japanese fellow. I remember Dick Murdoch from the next year. I remember Crush coming in next year. Great Kabuki and Tenryu in 94. King is still under the ring. Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for comments for me for confirming that. Yeah, Jumping Bomb Angels had music, but it wasn't that. Yeah, Yoko did not win the Rumble when he debuted. Yoko debuted in like late 92. Because he had a match at Survivor Series in 92. He faced Virgil. So he was already on TV. But he did win the Rumble very soon after debuting. And he did win the championship probably quicker, we got to think about it, than anybody else. AJ came close. AJ had it in like 9 months when he came in 2016. Yoko, I think it took him about 5 or 6. I'm trying to think who else won the title quicker upon their debut. He is going to clean house. Vader is here. There he goes right after Holly. So now we're getting into the business of this Rumble because Sean's going to be in there pretty soon. Diesel's got to come out. I'm going to go grab another beer while Vader's beating the shit out of everybody. 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I've got one of those child locks on my refrigerator because Tito likes to get in there whenever I leave the room, and I couldn't get it to latch back. So, anyway, sorry about that. New cold one. Did I miss Vader eliminating everybody? No. We're still good. And see, here Vader was still like really big. I mean, even though Vader would always be really big, don't you feel like he kind of slimmed down near the end there? Still big, still 380, but not just as, he didn't have the beef. Like, he looks like WCW Vader here. WCW Vader and WWE Vader do seem like two different wrestlers to me. Here he is. That's Doug Gilbert. Oh, USWA. I was thinking of Smoky Mountain. USWA is what it was. Yeah, that's right. Kurt Hennig and Eddie Gilbert. I forgot. I can't believe Hennig mentioned that. That's so awesome. Because I remember when Doug Gilbert won this, because Eddie had just passed away. And he won some sort of a tournament in the USWA that got him a spot here, because USWA and WWE would work together. That's where, pretty sure that's where Kane was hanging out. Oh, there he is. One shot and Jake goes over. That was great. Yeah, nobody's cooperating here. These Rumbles are such clusters, man. I don't recall Triple H, and well, maybe I do. Actually, I changed my mind. I do. Jeez. Some of these guys Vader has never interacted with before. It's kind of cool. 1, 2, 3 Kid. Oh, yeah, Smoky Mountain was done. Yeah, this is USWA now. I always conflate the two because they're very similar. Oh, Vader with that brick wall bump that he does. Ooh, Vader ate a super kick from Savio. Maybe this is Sean, you think? Who is it? Oh, I forgot about these guys. It's the squat team. These guys have had a couple of failed runs in the company. They bring them in here. Look at this guy. This is just ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure that they would return and resurface in WWE. They would give him another shot sometime in 97, right? On Raw. And they would come in, and it was like they were in there, and then they were gone, and I don't recall seeing them again. They were there shorter than Public Enemy was. I remember on Raw one time, like Vic Grimes debuting, right? Didn't Vic Grimes debut on Raw, do a big spot, and then never saw him again? Like, sometimes shit just doesn't work out. And I think with Vince, he's got such a cartoony, carny fucking mind that he sees these two guys and immediately thinks that, oh, there goes Doug Gilbert. Vader just threw him out like garbage. I mean, maybe Vince thought he could market this team a little bit. But Jesus, man, Vader disposed of number one there. Jim Cornette and Vince have already both referred to Vader as the Mastodon. So when you hear those stories about Vince wanting to change Vader's name to the Mastodon, I've never believed anything more in my life. That sounds exactly like the type of line of thinking we'd expect from Vince McMahon. He sees him, he looks like a mastodon. I mean, how do you suppose they talked him out of that? I'm glad they did. Who is it? Sean? Oh, it's the other one. You think about all the great champions. Bruno, Hogan, Austin, Rock, Mastodon. What the fuck? Mastodon. Vince is such a damn idiot. Oh, these two are, there's both of them. Now they're both coming back. I mean, are they really identical twins? I think they are. At some point in my life, I've known these dudes' names. I've just forgotten. And now there's two of them, and they struggle to move. They're so bottom heavy. Vader's like, fuck it. Here you go. Boom. Look at Vader. He's like, oh, go ahead. Two of you? Yeah, maybe I'm just high, and there's one of you, and I'm just seeing to you. I could be high. Oh, here's Yoko here to help out. That is a lot of beef. I didn't know they had the little spiky boots there. And there goes, oh my God. I cannot believe neither one of those guys blew out a knee, especially that second one. The way he was thrown out like that, all that weight. You hyperextend that wheel at 400 pounds. We're talking serious problems. Bold strategy here, that's true. Yes, please hit that like button. Listen to JDT 2003. 2003 was a great year for boner jams. If you guys have ever been into boner jams, check out 2003. 40-year-old virgin? Nope. Paul Rudd. Yes, Headhunters. Thank you. They were the Headhunters in FMW. They made some spots for ECW as well. But I knew their actual real names is what I was talking about. And I'm pretty sure they're identical twins. Here's Sean. Oh, no. It's Owen. Even better. That's a happy surprise. I thought I heard the beginning beats of Sean's theme, and out came Owen. It's much better. Owen's theme was so wild. But it grew on me, and it fit him perfectly. I remember once when I first started dating Elizabeth, and we were watching a lot of wrestling because she had a lot of questions. She's amazing. She wants to know things. And she's like, I think we should watch some Owen Hart matches or whatever. And we did. And I remember the first time that she heard his theme, she was just like, that's his theme? I'm like, I know it's crazy. I know it sounds totally weird and ridiculous, but yes, that's his theme. And if you think that's weird, wait until you see Shawn Michaels' theme. Wait till you hear that. It's a very wild thing, a wild theme for kids to be jamming out to back in the 90s. As much as I loved WWE and how lame it was at kind of a mature age, being in my late teens and early 20s during this, I'm proud to say that I never once fantasized about being Shawn Michaels and dancing with sparkles in front of an audience. So I never once wanted to be him. I was more of an Austin guy, or Brett guy. I'd take Austin and Brett's career any day, but I'm not trying to dance with sparkles. And if I get in a backstage altercation, I'd like to not get my ass kicked every time, if that's possible too. So I have no jealousy issues with Shawn. Big splash to Savio. Owen's getting worked over by Bob Holly, and we got in the far corner. It's Triple H and himself. Or no, somebody's with him. 1, 2, 3 Kid. Oh, the Click is representing. Here he comes. Now this is Shawn's first match back since the Raw after Survivor Series, when they did the post-concussion syndrome thing. He's been out all this time. They were teasing it on TV like he's going to have to retire. And another thing that's great that needs to be noted, in between Shawn's absence in 1995, basically from the time that the cheerleaders beat him up in Syracuse, from that time, that was the beginning phases of the end of the mullet. And it slowly started going. See, Shawn's hair up top is a lot longer now. And he was doing those promos prior to this match, announcing his comeback, where he kind of was wearing a different hairstyle because the mullet was out. Oh, Vader and Yoko. So Shawn is finally starting to do the one-length hair, which is what you should be doing. Oh, these two mastodons are mixing it up, guys. Look. Oof. Nice sell by Vader on the headbutt. Awkward looking building, isn't it? Like it's not dazzling looking. It's not like a pretty arena. It doesn't have any Oh! Little itty bitty. Fucking Craig Nelson voice. A little itty bitty. Shawn Michaels eliminates a ton, literally, of beef. Press slams and throws 1, 2, 3 Kid out. So some Click leaves. Shawn first eliminates Vader and Yoko at the same time. Then he eliminates the equivalent of one of Yokozuna's legs in 1, 2, 3 Kid after that. And Yoko, that's right. So, yeah, technically Cornette is still managing Yoko at this point. So Yoko hasn't done the full babyface turn yet. Hakushi's here. All right, now there's Vader nailing Yoko. So the next night on Raw, Vader would attack Gorilla Monsoon because I think he needed shoulder surgery or something. And he would do the deal so he would get suspended. And then I think Yoko would wind up having a match, I think, with Shawn Michaels on Raw or something. And then shortly after that, I can't remember how he turned babyface. I just know that he turned babyface because Cornette would favor Vader over him. Okay, so here, look at this. Vader is back in the ring now. He's got Shawn up, and he's going to throw him over the top rope. So here's another good early example of WWE changing the rules as they go along. They have had times where people have eliminated themselves. And they've let them back in. I mean, what Vader's doing here, even though it's illegal, all of these eliminations should count. Because I'm pretty sure at that one Royal Rumble, after Jake got eliminated, he came back with the snake and threw it in the ring, and Andre jumped over the top rope and eliminated himself. That counted. So why don't these count? Shawn Michaels should have been eliminated here. And there's Gorilla. I mean, Gorilla, even in these days, was still almost as big as Vader. I'm trying to get this crazy newcomer out of here. He's lost his mask on the first night. Tremendous negative reaction for Vader, says Vince. All right, so everybody's back in. Oh, Tatanka. It's Tatanka. Now, Tatanka is on his way out, too. I don't even think Tatanka's been around very much. Tatanka's entrance here is a lot like Crush's the previous year, in the sense that he just wasn't around, but they brought him back in for this. Another name gone from this Royal Rumble, if you notice, is Sid. I think Sid was gone. Sid would still be floating around because he would come back in the summer of '96 as a babyface, but after Survivor Series 1995, I don't remember seeing him again. We Are Pro Wrestling. When did Sid bounce? Because he wasn't in this Rumble. He wouldn't work Mania. We wouldn't see him again until the Warrior got fired. And a story I've told many times. I was there in Detroit prior to International Incident when Sid made his return and beat Owen when Warrior no-showed. And then the very next night on Raw, they introduce him as the new partner of Sid, or of Shawn and Ahmed. And I'm like, oh, that's why Sid was there last night. This big mastodon. I've got a 5 count now on the mastodon. 5 times Vader has been referred to as the mastodon. 4 times by Vince, 1 time by Cornette. So Tatanka, Owen, Bob Holly, Hakushi, Shawn, and Triple H, right, are in the ring. It was always cool to see Triple H and Shawn interact during these days. And there they go, Triple H and Shawn fighting in '96. Oop. All right, somebody else is coming in. We've got 6 men in there. This will be number 7. Nope. Hakushi's out. Oh! It's Aldo Montoya, guys. He is the Portuguese Man of War. Intimidating, yes, I know. He's dressed like a goddamn toucan. And he's got a jockstrap on his face. But he's a man of war. The funny thing about Aldo's mask back in these days is it didn't even look like a wrestling mask. It looked like he literally taped his face every time he had a match. Like he had to retape his face in yellow tape. And then put the chin part down and wrap it around. Like that's what it looks like to me. It's ridiculous. Like some people just have the worst luck. Imagine getting stuck with that gimmick. Vince is like, here, put this on. And then you start sticking it on your dick. And he's like, no, on your face. I'm like, what? This is just a prototype. You're going to tape it yourself every day. Oh, okay. Sean is sniffing out Lawler. Sean knows what's up. Arthur Jones says this is his last time. Montoya's last time on WWE before they sent him to ECW. That's good. I don't remember if, like, I don't know how the working relationship with ECW and WWE worked sometimes. Like, I don't know if, kind of like Candido, and who else am I thinking of? Al Snow is another guy that comes to mind. That's who I'm thinking of. Did Aldo get really released from WWE and he signed with ECW as Montoya gets eliminated? Or did they just send him there for Paul Heyman to use and they still kept him on the payroll? Here comes Diesel. You know what sucks about these guys leaving for WCW is I was interested and excited as a fan to see this Diesel. And I think he just, had to job out because he was going to WCW. But had he had a chance to run, I would have put the belt on him again at some point in '96 as a heel WWE champion. And he could have been great. But as a fan, I was really starting to get depressed because during the month of January of '96 is when I started becoming aware that Diesel and Razor were probably leaving. It just, you could feel it. You really could feel it. And plus you were hearing rumblings on the hotlines and the dirt sheets. Sean and Diesel just took out his friend. You could just feel it. It was in the air. Even best friends go at it in the Royal Rumble, guys. So if you have a best friend and you guys are in the Royal Rumble together, you have to fight. You have to. No, there's Lawler, finally got eliminated. Okay, so Yoko would turn face on the 5th. So that would have been, would have been the same set of tapings, because I remember that venue, that whatever building they're in when Vader attacks Gorilla, they do a taping set there of like 4 weeks. So that babyface turn happens on that taping, which would technically be the next day. It's got to be somewhere in California since they're here in Fresno. I don't know where they were in that building they were in. It resembles a little bit like Lowell, Massachusetts. It kind of has like a vibe like that, but I might get like a smaller version of a Royal Albert Hall or something. I don't know where that venue is. Kama, the Extreme Fighting Machine. He's a fighting machine, but like an extreme version of that. He's not like a regular fighting machine. He's more. And he's now stopped wearing the t-shirt, which is cool. Holly has been in there for a while, actually. Bob Holly having a good showing. The Godfather. I mean, how much longer was Kama? I mean, this is another guy that I think they just brought in to use. I don't think they were doing much with Kama. And he'd be gone from the WWE until they bring him back in the Nation, right? I don't think he was sticking around as the Extreme Fighting Machine for very long. late 95 was kind of the end of Kama in my mind, but again, I don't remember. Ooh, it's the Click beating up the BSK. This is not good. Oh. Sean down. Oh, you're right, Michael. It's the Supreme Fighting Machine. I had it wrong. Not the Extreme Fighting Machine, the Supreme Fighting Machine. Yeah. Kind of like a Burrito Supreme, only with fighting. Here we go. Steve Austin, known as the Ringmaster. You hear that? That's the first time that they ever referred to him as Steve Austin. He still had hair. I mean, he had just come in. Just a few months removed from the ECW promos he was cutting in 95. Zane G, appreciate the $2. They were at Arco Arena when Vader attacked Monsoon. No kidding. I thought Arco Arena was a bigger arena. Okay, so maybe it's older. Is it still open? Capacity 17,000. I don't think they were there, man. Is that where it says? It is a much smaller venue. I'll have to look that one up. But I remember that Raw taping. I don't recall it being in that big of an arena. I thought it was a smaller arena. That's crazy. I'll have to go look at the old video of that. I guess I've just got a false memory. Oh, good. They're going to at least pay credit to Bob Holly, who got eliminated by Austin. I remember when I was reading and hearing about, oh, here's the Bob Holly elimination. In 95, when I was reading and hearing about Austin kind of being on the outs with WCW, I was excited because I knew that was one guy they'd bring in. I always liked Stunning Steve in WCW. He was one of my favorites. So I was happy that things were not going well for him there. Because I'm like, oh, he'll definitely go to WWE. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Barry Horriblewitz. The fucking song. If a nerd winds up in the main event of WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure that's already happened. Has Xavier Woods main evented a WrestleMania yet? Never question the mind of Vince McMahon. Comments from me. Steve Austin is only the beginning. It's only the very, very tippity tip of an enormously large boat-sinking iceberg full of ridiculously stupid gimmicks, names, and ideas that Vince McMahon thought was money. I mean, he literally couldn't be more out of touch if he was dead. It was that bad. Wouldn't it be cool if The Godfather was a surprise entrance here and he came in and he eliminated Kama? That would be cool. Oh, and there goes Hunter. We had 75% of the click in there, and now we have 50. One fell swoop. Diesel just messing with Horowitz. He just stuck a finger in his eye and walked away. He could have just picked him up and threw him over. But he's like, nah, I'll just let you stay in here a little longer. Who's next? Oh, it's Fatu. Hey, it's time to make a change, guys. It's so bad. That might be the worst theme music I've ever heard. That's pretty bad. What does it say? It's time to make a change and then something, make a change. Whatever it is bad. But I guarantee you that at the Stanford headquarters, when they were figuring out how to repackage Fatu after the death of the Head Shrinkers, and Jim Johnson played that music for Vince, Vince danced. 1,000,000% he danced in his chair. Oh, that's great shit. What we need now is some red trunks and a really loud jacket and a toboggan hat. And really, that's all you need to make a change. As long as you have those things, you can make changes in the world. Greg hates change. Hashtag. Hash Brown. Greg hates change. Yeah, Alan, it kind of was like a version of Rocky Maivia prior to Rocky. So we've got Owen and Sean battling on the far end. Diesel and Steve Austin. We have not seen these two guys interact much. How many times has Stone Cold, who wasn't even Stone Cold at this time, fought Kevin Nash? I'm pretty sure Austin gets accidentally eliminated in this match, I think. Oh, Lord. Here comes Isaac Yankem. Can you believe that a guy whose parents named him Yankem grew up to be a dentist? Or a guy with the last name Yankem grew up to be a dentist? That's very ironic. Wow, look at that. New Diesel and old Diesel. Barry Horowitz is out, so that threat is over. Because for a while there, I thought Barry had it. Yeah, Insiguri to Sean, same move that put him out. New Diesel and fake Diesel. Or New Diesel and real Diesel in the corner. Steve Austin with the white boots. Don't often see those on him in WWE. Battling with the guy that would run him over 5 years later. Or 4 years later. That's kind of cool. Isaac Yankem is in there with Shawn, who would re-debut in a Shawn Michaels match as Kane. Owen must have gotten eliminated. That's a shame. Owen's leaving. So now we've got Rikishi, Kane, Stone Cold representing and the Godfather, and Shawn Michaels all representing the Attitude Era in there against one sole member of the NWO, Kevin Nash. That's kind of cool. I mean, that's other than Nash, that's all Attitude Era in that ring right now. I don't know, Ken Webb. Undertaker never won the Intercontinental title, did he? Undertaker, brother. Who's next? Marty Jannetty. Here he comes. No fucking reaction at all. Have we had the new Rockers yet? That would come later this year, right? He's going right after Kevin Nash. Marty Jannetty, I'm pretty sure, had a few matches on Nitro as well. Didn't he work some for WCW? He was in and out of the WWE like 16 different times in the 90s. But I think he turned up in on Nitro a time or two, too. That's right. We got playoffs going on right now. 17-10 Bengals. I kind of thought that game would be over by now. What quarter is it? Third. 17-10. Bengals over the Ravens. Yeah, Marty is still there. Marty would stick around because I know that they would bring in Al Snow as Leaf Cassidy, and they would be the new Rockers in '96, which sucked. Look at that. I love that the throwback there, Shawn and Marty. Shawn on the verge of winning the title. Marty enjoying the shit end of that stick, but still there in the company, getting a payday. Good for him. They put Marty on pay-per-view? I guess I can believe that. We've watched some WCW pay-per-views together, and they put ridiculous matches on their pay-per-views. You're like, why the hell is this on here? Oh, yeah, they're talking about Duke coming in at number 30. Mike Witt, what's up? You were at the game. Thanks for congratulating me. And here comes the Bulldog. He's in there with Sean, last year's finalists. Sorry you had to be there to watch that. We were already previously eliminated in the playoffs, I think, prior to that game, but it was still fun to spoil Aaron Rodgers' party. He should have never walked slow motion, dressed like Nick Cage, into training camp. He should have never done that. Once he did that, he was a walking SNL sketch to me. Oh, look at Diana. Damn, Diana. Diana never plays games. What's going on that one side? Never mind. Marty's out. A Bulldog eliminates a Rocker. And Sean and Bulldog back at it. Maybe we'll do a repeat of last year. Let's get Pamela Anderson out here. See, look at Rikishi and Ringmaster going at it. Don't worry, their feud's going to get worse. Oh, there goes Austin. Austin is out. Now, I don't remember the story. But Rikishi eliminating Austin there, I think, was unplanned. I think Austin tells a story like he was sweaty or something, or he just slipped off the ropes and he fucked up. So he's out. And so is Fatu, by the way. So we got Duke is next. Duke is the final. So we're at number 30 now. Duke is about to join the fray. Oh, it's even the sound of the truck. God, that sounds like every Tuesday morning here at my house. Trash man comes and I hear that hitting and coming out in the front of the house. Beep, beep. And it's loud as shit. And in the non-winter months, when I sleep with the windows open, I have to remember to shut my window on Monday nights. Owen's back. Kick him in the head. I love the agent representation out here, man. All of them. Lanza, Goulet, Tony Gurria, Dave Hebner. Surprised Shane's not running around out there somewhere. Briscoe's out there. Pat's probably not. Pat's probably in the back. Unless this was during his hiatus. Damn. Yeah, Sean got real up. There goes Yank him. Yanked him right out of there. All right, Duke, all that trouble coming at number 30. All right, we are down to final four, guys. It is Bulldog, it is Sean, it is Diesel, and it is Kama. You've got three very tough individuals, and Sean is also in there. Yep, Davey almost got Sean. Sean saves himself. Nice. Oh, no. Sean's going to have to skin the cat. See, imagine if Sean accidentally got eliminated there. Uh-oh, here we go. Kama's out. Sean, super kick. Boom. Actually, a really good finish. Sean didn't connect on the super kick the way I wanted him to, but having it be the two of them being the finals and planting the seed for an eventual showdown after Shawn wins the title was great. That was the two perfect guys to have end that match. It's always been one of my favorite finishes in the Rumble. I just wish that maybe the super kick looked a little better. But like, you can't blame Shawn. He did what he was supposed to do. Friend or no friend. He saw an opportunity and he took it. And Diesel's pissed. And Shawn's number 2. 2 in a row. Yeah, first guy since Hogan to win. Last week, we watched Hogan win his second in a row. Now you got a very mad Diesel who held that title for a year and has gotten tripped up trying to get it back. But what's funny about this is he winds up getting a title shot, which is funny, right? It is weird how that whole situation or that whole is set up. All right, so if Diesel's trying to get that line over, he used to say it a few times. It's something about the only reason he's living and breathing is because I allow it or some shit like that. And Shawn's dancing. Oh, wait a minute. So that top part on Shawn is a whole nother short set of trunks? Is that how that works? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Shawn was about to take it all off. I didn't realize that Shawn's gear was a 2-piece. He must be very concerned. Yeah. You don't want to die. Diesel knows what's up. Diesel knows the rules. He's going to give his buddy a high five. I like the dynamic here, too, because I like the fact that they stayed friends after Diesel kind of went heel or went tweener. And they were going to still maintain that friendship, even though you knew at some point they were going to have a showdown. Now, had Diesel not left and gone to WCW and he stuck around after this, you could have drugged that out. Like, Diesel would turn on Shawn at that house show in Madison Square Garden leading up to Mania, but they could have waited. They could have had Diesel come into the ring with Shawn at WrestleMania and celebrate with him or congratulate him, or at least come out the next night on Raw and congratulate him, and then plant the seeds of dissension. Maybe instead of good friends, better enemies, you have Shawn and Diesel team up, and Diesel realizes that he does not like. This just reminds him of where they were before when Shawn was IC champion and he was backing him up, and he feels like he's returning to that, and Shawn's hogging the spotlight, and then he turns on Shawn, turns heel, and they have a long program that takes him into SummerSlam or something like that. I would have booked it in some way like that had Diesel not left. But the WCW thing changed everything, and they pretty much had to hotshot what would have been a pretty great angle between these two and another feud between the two with the roles reversed. I think it would have been fun to see happen. Yeah, they still have attitudes, and they're still two dudes, but I think we're just a few weeks away from that match at the Garden where Diesel would attack Shawn. Yes, Mike Witt, I'm reacting to this year's Rumble. I'll put up a link to that soon. That way it's just here on the channel waiting, sitting pretty. And Diesel's still there. Oh, yeah, I know why, because he's stalling so he can still be there when Undertaker comes out. Part of me wishes it was still 1996. Those were good times. They were good times. Diesel and Razor should have stayed. No, I think WWE needed more money is all it was. Diesel and Razor broke the hearts of a lot of fans, including my own. But as an adult, looking back in hindsight, I'd have done the same thing. I would have done the same thing. At the time, I felt betrayed, but when you're an 18-year-old kid, you're not choosing between a $300,000 contract and an $800,000 contract, or a $500,000 contract and a $1.5 million contract. You're just hoping you're going to get a buck raise on your minimum wage next year. So you're not in the same universe. So I had nothing to relate to in terms of Nash and Hall leaving. I couldn't understand and put myself in their shoes because I had no idea what that was like to be looking at that kind of money and having a family and a pregnant wife and a kid and shit like that. Gotta do what you gotta do, man. Now, Diesel took his fucking time. Shawn beat him to the back. He's still out there sobbing and sulking that he lost the Royal Rumble, only for him to have this very cool. And so, again, you knew exactly what they were setting up here for, you know? I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be our Mania match, obviously. Going into this match, too, as a fan watching it that night, I didn't know how Undertaker was going to not win the title, but because he was so unbeatable. But I also didn't see him winning the title because I'm like, well, Brett just won it. He's going to carry it into, it's going to be Brett and Shawn at WrestleMania. You knew that. So this Undertaker match was here on the card, but I'm like, as a fan, I'm like, well, Taker's not going to win because Taker's not going to go to WrestleMania to face Shawn. Brett's already the champion. It's a perfect match. Brett and Shawn, that's your match. Diesel and Taker will be your WrestleMania match. So once they did, he's not afraid of the dark. So once they ran all this, you're like, oh, okay. They were kind of letting you know that Diesel might show his face again, and he would. And Diesel would wind up getting a championship match anyway the next month at In Your House. Mike, he got injured. Yokozuna and Mabel were crushed his face. That's what they did on TV. I think it was Mabel that actually did it, but he took one of those leg drops and crushed his orbital bone, which is rough. That's your skull, bro. So he had to wear that protective mask. But this was the end of it. The protective mask made its debut at Survivor Series, and it would make its exit here at the Royal Rumble. So Diesel did get one shot in on Taker there, and now Brett's going to come out. And at some point during this match, Brett removes. This must be a long effing match, man. I always knew this match was long. But holy shit, we got 44 minutes left in the show. Brett and Taker worked well together, but none of their matches stick out as exciting to me. I have never been a big fan of the match we're about to see here. Maybe looking at it again now, I'll have a different appreciation for it. Another match of theirs I've never loved is one where Brett won the title, SummerSlam 97. I loved the finish. I think I loved everything about that match except for the match itself. The finish was great with Shawn and the chair and all that. But, like, the match in the ring, it was good work and everything, but I don't think back to it as a beautiful clinic or something that I think about often, you know? Their matches just didn't click with me. Brett and Taker. Now, last week we watched Royal Rumble 1991, and I think Undertaker eliminated Brett, right? Undertaker said he wanted Diesel to beat the streak, but decided not to because of Nash leaving. Maybe Vince wanted Diesel to beat the streak. Maybe Vince had that thought. Oh, Brett hooking up the kid. Right on. You go home with some Bret Hart shades, kid. I'll tell you what, It's like my ultimate dream. I wish I could like rewind and just be a kid in the front row and have Brett put the shades on me. That would motivate me to become a wrestler and be good enough to have Brett choose me to have his retirement match against him. And they can show the picture of me with the glasses, or show the video of Brett giving me the glasses. And then me and Brett in the ring, main event at WrestleMania, 45-minute match. Brett puts me over, retires, gets on the mic and bequeaths the best there is, was, and ever will be saying to me, and I now say it. The Undertaker doesn't feel pain. I don't understand it. I mean, Brett's trying to look at Taker, just absorbing those punches. Yeah, Alan Carter brings up a good point. Diesel will flip off Undertaker at the end of the show here, which was a little bit shocking at the time. Diesel honestly was Stone Cold before Stone Cold was. I mean, he was a tweener. He was somebody that didn't give a shit about fighting baby faces or heels. The only fans he gave a shit about are the ones that directly supported him with the black glove. Austin just didn't give a shit about anybody, whether you supported him or not. But Diesel kind of, he was a tweener there after Survivor Series, where even though he turned on Brett and powerbombed him 3 times, the very next month he worked against his evil heel brother, Owen Hart, at that In Your House. Here, him and Shawn, he celebrates and congratulates Shawn after the win, but he costs a babyface Undertaker the match later. So Diesel was kind of not discriminating between who he feuded with, babyface, heel. It didn't matter. And that, I think, was, could have been an early blueprint of what an Austin type of character would be. Diesel deserves some credit for that. Diesel and Undertaker having a go at it out in the aisleway. I am going to look up this pay-per-view, and I'm going to try to get a match time on Taker and Brett here, because 30-minute match, yeah. It's a 30-minute match, but I still feel like they're going to have 10, 15 minutes to kill here. Is there another match I'm not thinking of? I mean, is my math wrong here? Are we not going to have 20 extra minutes left over? Or maybe 15 extra minutes left over? Probably going to have to do a recap video package, and perhaps, you know what, back in these days, I wonder, back in these days, they used to do like post shows, like Royal Rumble post shows, or pay-per-view post shows. Doc Hendricks would host them. I wonder if we get that here. Maybe we get some sort of after show. That would be kind of cool. But the fact that they made this match the main event did kind of give you the feeling we could see a title change here. And then Royal Rumble Plus. Thank you, Tatanani. Okay, I had a feeling. So it makes you think that putting this match in the main event, maybe you could see a title change. But, man, going with a DQ in a main event of one of your big pay-per-views, DQ or count-out, how many times have they done that? They've done it here for 96. They did it at SummerSlam 93 with Lex and Yoko. They did it at WrestleMania 8 with Hogan and Sid. And those are all major pay-per-views. SummerSlams, Royal Rumbles, WrestleManias. I'm trying to think if we've seen it in any other pay-per-view, any sort of DQ main event. I can't think of one unless you guys can come up with one. Like a main event. Forget just a regular title match. I'm sure there's tons of those. But a show to close out a major pay-per-view ending in a DQ or count-out. It's rare, and when it happens, it's annoying. Okay, yeah, so there's the post-show coming up. That'll be kind of cool to see that. I have no idea if Magnum would have ever gone to WWF or not. I feel like he would have because he was super marketable, but I also think that the NWA and the Crockett's could have done everything to keep him with them as well. And him and Flair, man, he could have been their answer to Hogan, but maybe it would have been tough to afford all of that and balance that for a management team like the Crockett's that had some issues. I don't know, but I'm almost glad that he didn't go to WWE, although we would never know because of the tragic accident. But if he didn't get hurt, I would almost hope that he wouldn't, only because the time period of which he would have come in would have not made him a contender or an opponent for Hogan. I think he could have been somebody who would rival Hogan's popularity amongst wrestling fans, amongst women, things like that. But Hogan was already there and established in WWE, and there's really not much of there's no stronger wrestler than 86 and 87 Hogan, and that would have been when Magnum probably would have came in, 86, 87, 88, maybe even 89. And if he came in during any of those times, I don't think he would have been at the top of the card, somebody that would have threatened Hogan's job. I think Vince would have put him in a stupid gimmick, like the Berserker or something like that, and he would have had some whack-ass gimmick, like when Barry Windham came in as the Widowmaker. He would have been the Widowmaker or something, some sort of gimmick like that where he wouldn't have had a chance to connect and be over to the level that he was in NWA. Unless his Magnum TA persona there was enough to allow him to be Magnum TA in WWE, but I doubt it. They would have changed his name. It wouldn't have been like Ric Flair. They would have changed him up, repackaged him, put him in a silly outfit. And who knows, maybe it would have still gotten over like The Undertaker did, or maybe whatever sort of persona they gave him or look they gave him and name perhaps would have been fine. But I think if he would have stayed in the NWA and just been that top babyface prior to Sting getting there and assuming that role, he would have been just white hot. But I don't know, it depends. Back in those days, people switched companies all the time. One call from Vince McMahon could change everything. No, Flair came in like 91. Ooh. Yeah, crowd was always flat for this. This venue here in Fresno is just not my favorite place. It just looks, I don't like the look of it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Milwaukee Arena where Over the Edge 98 was, but that was a way hotter crowd. I think King of the Ring 96 was there as well. It's small like this, but this Fresno has no life. This Fresno has no pizzazz. It's got no energy. I mean, Northern California in January, it's a bit on the chilly side. God, they're getting pummeled up there right now. It's raining here in San Diego. It's been raining for days. We desperately need the water. All of our reservoirs are filling up. The lakes are full. It's fucking great. But it's coming at a cost because there's so much rain coming. People are getting flooded, but we do need the rain. What's up, WWE Fan Forever? Yeah, too many factors are at play. Crazy Jay's right. Ooh, I love that bump Taker took. But speculating where Magnum would have gone, it all depends on what was going on internally too, his relationship with his employers and how over he was and what he was doing and if there was anything political he had to worry about. But I just think knowing Hogan the way we do, Magnum coming into WWE, Hogan would have looked at him as an immediate threat and shut that shit down. And I wouldn't have wanted to see that happen to Magnum. Because let me tell you, them ladies love them some Magnum TA. Any woman living in the deep South or just the regular South back in Magnum TA's wrestling days, let's just say they were moist at the sight of him. He was all kinds of marketable, would have sold merch out the ass. Would have sold tickets. The screaming women. Holy shit, the Ravens just returned a 100-yard fumble for a touchdown? Yo. Pick six or fumble? Well, dang. Is it going to stand? Is there any flags on that? I don't have the TV on. I guess I should put it on, huh? Let's turn the game on. Oh, it's tie game now, huh? Yeah, we got to turn this on. It's fourth quarter. Holy shit. What channel is this shit on? No, I don't want to watch Friends. NBC, okay. And WNBC. WNBC. Oh, I got to go through all the NBA channels before I get to NBC. WNBC. There it is. You got to hear the way Lima says it. Or Ima says it. Oh, there it goes. I see it. Oh, big guy. Big fella, number 94 ran that in. Get him some oxygen. Damn. Oh, it's 24-17. Sorry, it's not a tie game. Holy shit, Bengals. Brian Pillman would be happy. All right, Brett is working over the legs of Taker. And again, like, I remember watching this as a fan too, just thinking it's really crazy. I think the fans were even kind of in awe and flat of it because I was always wondering how long it would take WWE to do this, to finally do Brett and Taker or put Taker in the ring in a championship match. Think about his previous championship matches before this. I don't think he had any in 1995. Any at all. He worked with garbage. Irwin at the Rumble. King Kong Bundy at Mania. He lost at King of the Ring, got beat by Mabel. Worked against, I don't know who the hell he works against in 95 at SummerSlam, Kama maybe. And then had the feud with Mabel and Survivor Series that wrapped up. And then finally, after that whole year of 1995 of Mabels and Kamas and King Kong Bundys, they finally decide that, hey, this is one of our top stars. How much longer can we keep bullshitting the fans and making him think he's just too busy and doesn't want the WWE title? They were able to get away with that with Andre, but even Andre had to hold the title for a second, didn't he, before he handed it off to Ted DiBiase? So I feel like this was WWE just kind of doing something that they couldn't avoid anymore, and they would still avoid it for another full year. Diesel would come fuck this up, then he'd work again with Diesel at WrestleMania. They'd always find people for him to work with. Then they found Mankind for him, and then he was occupied with Mankind for all of 96. And then finally, 1 year later in 97, with the Shawn drama and the Brett drama and the losing their smile, it was finally time to belt up the dead man. And it would take a whole nother year to do it. Outside Royal Rumble at the LA Coliseum. I'd rather do it here in San Diego at Petco Park. It would be awesome. All right, come on, Brett. Oh, yeah. See, Vince is already speculating that facial appliance, Vince and his descriptions, the facial appliance, he doesn't know if Taker really needs it or not. He might just be wearing it. He doesn't know if he needs it for protection. He might just be... doesn't even need it. Whatever Vince was saying there. But I agree. Who do I think we'll see on Raw is XXX. Jenna Jameson, Ron Jeremy. Let me see, who else? Oh, is he sharpshooting already? No. False alarm. He was dragging him, though. I kind of wish this match happening for the first time for the title, honestly, would have been in a different city. No offense to my neighbors up north in Fresno, but y'all suck. I don't know who specifically makes Brett's stuff, but I'm pretty sure he's had somebody making his shit for a while. Vince keeps calling that a facial appliance. Like, Vince, mask is one syllable. Why add 4 syllables? For no reason whatsoever. Facial appliance. Yeah, 4 syllables you added. When the hell is Raw 30? Next week. Not tomorrow, right? I think we need to live react to Raw 30 next week. I should be here doing that. I don't think I'm going to live react tomorrow. Unless tomorrow is Raw 30, then I will. Also this week, I got to make sure I put mic drops and YouTube shorts up because I don't think I'm going to be here Wednesday either for Dynamite. So I'm going to have to scatter. I'm going to have to sprinkle content on the channel Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I suppose I could come up here and do a Raw review tomorrow, but if there's nothing, or a Raw recap, a Raw watch-along, excuse me. But if there's nothing great advertised for it, why bother? January 23rd, okay. Oh, that's Raw's 30th? That's also, interestingly enough, the, I guess, what, 39th anniversary of Hulk Hogan beating the Iron Sheik. He was January 23rd, 1984. It was the birth of Hulkamania. Oh, there you go, Taker. Stomping Brett's face. Mike Witt. Yeah, I saw Anna Jay's bump. I was there. I got it on film. But no, I saw it on TV as well. But I think I saw it for the first time on Twitter. I saw the real bump. I'm like, ooh, that was bad. And then I quote tweeted it with a video from my vantage point. And where I was sitting, you didn't see them hit the ground. They just kind of disappeared below the seats when they fell from the stage. So I had no idea that poor Anna got her bell rung pretty good there. That's hardcore, man. Hope she's all right. Yeah, Taker working over Brett, but Brett's fighting. I mean, Brett had no breaks, man. I mean, he worked with Diesel at Survivor Series, which was a brutal match. Then he worked with Davey in Hershey, which was almost equally brutal. And now he's in the ring with the most dominant star WWE has, who's choking him with a microphone cord. Next month, you're going to put Brett in a cage with fucking Diesel. They're just murdering poor Brett. I'd lose to Sean, too, if I had to have those 4 pay-per-views in a row. Prior working with his stripper ass. The bell rang when Brett hit the timekeeper's table. That was kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know why a lot of people can't believe how hard Ruby bladed. It's Friday the 13th, man. Fuck, half the damn movies all over your TV is going to be Freaky Jason cutting people's heads off and blood splattering and squirting everywhere. If you can't handle blood on someone's face on Friday the 13th of all days, you are a vagine. A big, big, floppy vagine. Snowflake, I think they call it. Oh. I know the fans are kind of. I think that's another reason why the match feels flat from an audience perspective is because you do have a split crowd. You got an Undertaker camp and a Brett camp. Kane and X-Pac at Raw 30? That sounds right. They're both in good graces with the company. None of that surprises me. But it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really just crazy to be doing this 30th anniversary show in the midst of so much turmoil. Oh, my God. Brett just getting the stairs out of here completely. Now Brett's starting to focus on the wheels of Taker. Yeah, people have a problem with women blading. I don't. They're wrestlers. If they want to get in there and blade and get violent and get crazy, have at it, man. I got no issue with that. I'm an equal opportunity blader. If you're a minority, a woman, or any sort of a part of any other marginalized group, and you want to blade, I got your back. Blade away. When you're done blading, blade some more. And if people want to cry about it, tell them to get a life. WWE's biography series. Jake, Kane, Dusty, Sheik, NWO, and China. Quite the lineup there. Don't give a shit about Kane. Dusty will be good, although we know the story. Sheik will be good. Sheik will have some... There'll be a lot of info people don't know about the Iron Sheik in that. I'm looking forward to that. I know most of his story, but not all of it. NWO, again, NWO, Jake, and Dusty, and Kane, to be honest, and we know all these stories. We know them backwards and fronts. China is going to be a little bit sad to watch, but NWO will be a retelling of what we already know. A lot of that stuff will, but some of these documentaries and topics and stuff are getting repetitive. They're starting to get done more than once. I don't know how many NWO documentaries exist. Dozens of them. That's why I haven't watched that Flair bullshit on Peacock. I'm like, what are they going to tell me that I don't already know and understand about hornball kamikaze man himself, Ric Flair? JCS, good to see you. Yeah, we just got the China doc a year ago from Vice, which kind of had a depressing tone to it because of her sad story. So it'll be fun to relive that again on A&E. Vince comes out next Monday. I suppose at this point, he probably has the power to, if he wants to, right? Can anyone, based on the steps he's taken to re-implement himself on board of the directors, even though he says he's not involved and won't be involved in creative, if he made the ruling that I'm going to appear on Raw and talk to the WWE fans, who in the WWE has that authority to stop him? And would they even bother? You know what? Fine, go out there or just dig us deeper, Vince. What an asshole. I don't want Vince's presence anywhere near that Raw 30 of the show. He can fuck off. You perfect plex him. I'm not sure if the perfect plex would be that effective on The Undertaker any more than a sharpshooter would there, Hennig. Undertaker raising up. Now, I remember at the time thinking, even though I knew the story of Undertaker's face being injured, I thought the mask was here to stay. I thought that was his new look. So I was really happy when it disappears, which I think it's about to. Yeah, the Kane story, we probably would get more of Glenn's life prior to that. I absolutely loathe his face and anything he has to say politically, but Kane was one of my favorite wrestlers. I thought Kane was a great character. I was happy to find Kane find his niche, and I thought Kane was a better wrestler than Diesel and Sid and a lot of other big guys that were making more money than him. So I was happy for Kane's success, and he was a big part of the Attitude Era, and I've seen him wrestle multiple times, many times. I've seen him win championships. I've always liked Kane. Mayor Kane can suck a butt. I don't give two shits about Mayor Kane at all. But Wrestler Kane was one of the best of that time period. All right, we got Cincinnati's got the ball about midfield, 2nd and 10, and a drop pass. And so and then they got a WWE Rivals. Okay, thank you for this. It's going to be Hogan and Andre, Stone Cold and Brett, Undertaker and Mankind, Cena versus Rock, Triple H, Batista, Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels, and Brock versus Roman. Austin and Shawn's a weird one. I know Austin was a big part of Austin's, or Shawn was a big part of Austin's launching with Mike Tyson and WrestleMania 14, but I wouldn't consider them lifelong rivals at all. They had some matches in 96. They had some matches in 97. They won the tag team titles. They wrestled at King of the Ring. But, oh, he's got the mask. But I would not consider them a long, storied rivalry. I'm surprised they're doing that one. Austin and Shawn's stupid. They probably just want to showcase and feature that Mike Tyson shit. So they're making Austin, they're going to shoehorn Austin and Michaels into this. Like, they did have a series of matches in different chapters of their career. They did, but not enough to put it on one of those, in my mind. And Brock and Roman definitely deserve one, given their history. They have real history. 7 years of it, 8 years. Taker's unmasked, and I'm happy to see that. That means he's healed up enough to go without that thing. And now Brett's going to target the face of The Undertaker. Cena and Rock, you could put them in the same boat then as Shawn and Stone Cold. I think with Cena and Rock, the reason they're probably making this a rivalry is so they can show all of that great work they did at WrestleMania 28 that year. Oh, there's the tombstone. Here it is. Look how close to the edge of the ring he is. And there it is. 1. And Diesel pulls out the official. And I didn't like that as a Bret Hart fan. I don't like to see Bret Hart get beat, even if he is going to save his title. And the official has disqualified. Undertaker thinks he won. Diesel. Taker wants the belt. I don't know how you would fantasy book this to make it better if you think about WWE and where they were at the time. And Howard's announcing that he's not the champ. But you just didn't go around beating Taker willy-nilly around this time. So I think maybe WWE thought this was the best way to do it, but it didn't make Bret look very good. And there's the flip-off bird to Taker, and Diesel's walking away happy. Hey, I fucked you over. But it's pretty weird. Like, Diesel acted like he had some revenge to get. He was the one that was sulking like a bitch around the ring after the Royal Rumble. He didn't go to the back. It's not Taker's fault. It's his turn to have a match. And because Taker got in his face in the aisleway, they started a brawl, and now Diesel feels like revenge is justified. I'm like, you were the one in the way, not Taker. Taker was just doing his thing, and now Bret's music plays after. At least Vince is like, you never would have known. So Bret lost that match via DQ, and then he would go into the next pay-per-view and face Diesel in a cage, where Diesel would have him beat, and then Undertaker would screw over Diesel. All right, apparently we got some Royal Rumble post-show coming up here that's about 10 minutes long. We'll watch. Oh, we're going to get some comments from The Undertaker. That's good. You know what's funny? Under this video right now, I'm looking on the YouTube screen. Under this video, under recommended videos, it's showing my WrestleMania matches that had the wrong outcome from 9 months ago. I barely even remember doing that, recording that, but there it is. I think that was a, might have been a donation video. Here's Gorilla. Royal Rumble Plus. It was a tremendous event, Gorilla, that it was.
However, I have sanctioned the feature match. It'll be a World Wrestling Federation title defense by the current reigning champion, the excellence of execution, Bret the Hitman Hart. He will face the man that he took the WWF title from at Survivor
Diesel, okay. Now, why would Gorilla reward Diesel with a championship match at the next pay-per-view after he fucked over Undertaker? Gorilla should have said, you know what, I was going to give Diesel a title shot, but after what he did out there, he's not going to get one now. That's what I expect Gorilla to say. Sean and Todd, or Sean and Doc, excuse me. Shawn Michaels fresh off his Playgirl spread. Phase 1. Oh, he's starting to call it his clique now. The coolness of the clique is going to run wild. The clique is not that cool, Sean. Sean, move your head. I want to see that Royal Rumble poster behind your head. Michael Hayes and Shawn Michaels. Crazy. Shawn Michaels Hayes.
Sean, let me ask you this. What about the announcement just by interim president Gorilla Monsoon? You will face whomever the WWF champion is at WrestleMania. We now know it. February's in your house. It's Big Daddy Cool
Diesel and Bret.
What if Big Daddy Cool is successful and it's you and Big Daddy?
It's you and Big Daddy. They love to say Big Daddy Cool.
One more time, you know something? My big buddy has cleaned my clock once before.
My big buddy.
And if I know Big Daddy Cool, he's going to clean my clock again. But this time, I'm telling you,
I remember like my senior year of high school, 94, 95, in our computer, like there was no computers really in the school, not like now, but we did have a computer lab there. And one of them had like a Tetris game on it. And I got the high score on it, like a whole bunch of times. And I put my name as Big Daddy Cool. And I remember like being like 3 computers away one day, and one of the students, I think it was a girl, being like, "Who's Big Daddy Cool?" And I'm just over there kind of snickering. I'm like, "Ha, me." But not everybody knew what wrestling was in '95. If I went to school in the Attitude Era, that would have been a whole different thing. Everybody knew who Austin was. Is Gorilla going to do every interview in front of these lockers? Todd putting it over. Uh-oh.
Make the match, but I tell you one thing, Gorilla Monsoon, it'll be a cold day in hell before Diesel ever wears the title of the World Wrestling Federation.
Pissed off Taker, rightfully so.
Undertaker, and if I can read between the lines, I don't want to see, folks, what happened.
Gorilla, what kind of president are you?
Happened in Louisville. So I may have to make a little amendment to that match.
Uh-oh.
Well, let's put the thing in a 15-foot.
Okay, none of this makes any sense.
Nobody can get out and nobody can get in, and we'll have a winner.
Gorilla Monsoon now rewarded Diesel's outside interference with a championship match against Brett. Undertaker, the man who Diesel screwed, gets pissed and gets in Gorilla's face, and then Gorilla's like, hey, I'm not going to let you screw over him like he did to you, so I'm going to put this match in a cage, still rewarding Diesel with more protection. Yeah. Oh. Diesel, Gorilla's doing you a lot of favors. Diesel's number. That's all he was stating. Diesel's number one. That's it.
You know, you don't have to like me. You know what? You don't have to like me. But the thing is, you gotta love me because I'm the best thing going today.
Well, what about the statement The Undertaker just made that you'll never be WWF champion again?
I'll do whatever I wanted.
I want to know who's in the background.
When I was a kid, for punishment, my mom
I can hear voices reacting.
to the darkest part of the basement and turn on the light. She thought I was scared of the dark. I wasn't. I fooled her. Undertaker, I'm not afraid of the dark. And I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of anybody. Because you know what? You break down and you can pick anybody in the World Wrestling Federation.
I'm not afraid of the dark either. Bring it on, dark.
That's right. You want Big Daddy sitting next to you because he's going to take care of things. He's going to get the job done. You know, Shawn Michaels is going on to WrestleMania. Hey, that's great. You know, the kick, hey, we told each other going into it, what happens, happens. But I'll tell you something.
Diesel's reasonable.
You and me?
He's reasonable.
Throwing some kind of idle threats? I ain't buying it. I'm not afraid of you. The only thing I'm afraid of is the tax man. All right?
However,
It's no longer the World Wrestling
I think Diesel should be a little more grateful to Gorilla Monsoon for all of the wonderful gifts Gorilla has given to him for no reason.
I'm going to be doing mind manipulation when I can't put my hands into it. Hey, it's still my show. We're still running on diesel power. You just might not like the way things are going. Don't put nothing up to me. I'll get done when I say I'm done.
See?
All right? You shut your mouth. Now I'm done. Okay?
What did Austin do in the beginning days of Stone Cold Steve Austin? You can stop counting me down. And Diesel, did the same thing there. Austin would go kick the shit out of the cameraman, but Diesel was Stone Cold before Stone Cold. I've said it for years. Fucking Vader, man. Throwing chairs. I like how Jim Cornette looks like he's been trying to tame this beast all this time. I like that Vader put his mask back on. Oh, good. We're going to take a look back at the awesome Royal Rumble. Here we go. I love the post-show video packages. They're great. I mean, props to the production team doing this in 1996, knowing what I know about editing and being on YouTube and stuff now. This had to have been very strenuous to get a video package done in real time and be able to air it immediately following the show. Oh, I love that spot in the IC match. That was great. Slapped him on the ass. Not my favorite Royal Rumble music. Everything about this was just, it was flat, wasn't it? Like the Brett and Taker match felt flat. This arena had like a flat feel to it. No energy. I've never been to Fresno, but apparently they suck there. Hopefully Dynamite will do better on Wednesday. It's going to be hard to top LA, man. That building, the Forum was rocking. Closest Razor ever came to being in a match was running in during one, and then the fake version of himself competed in one in 97. We're going to do a watch-along. Mike Witt, hey, you got an icon next to your name, which means you're a member. And if we do a Nitro watch along, it will be for channel members only. So you will participate. Let's narrow one down. Let's try to do one this month. I'll look at the calendar. I've got YouTube shit to do tonight and tomorrow, so I'll be posting links and kind of formulating a schedule in my head. Easily the worst Royal Rumble theme music of all time. Thanks for being here, guys, by the way, for those starting to roll out of here. Tatanani and Mike and Ray Frand and Zach, thanks for all those emojis. Appreciate it. All the new channel members that joined tonight, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. You will have mic drops and YouTube shorts hitting the channel. A couple of them here Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. There's a minuscule, just a minuscule chance I might react to Raw tomorrow night. I doubt it, but I might. Otherwise, we'll have some content hitting the channel, and I'll try to give you guys some stuff before Saturday's podcast. As of right now, I have Friday evening off. So every time I've done a stream on Friday, it does a terrible audience. I think people just do shit on Friday nights. So if I'm off Friday, I might not do a video, but maybe I will after SmackDown. We'll see. Maybe we'll react to SmackDown. That could be a good idea. All right, it's Shawn Michaels. That actually might be a good idea. Well, no, I can't react to SmackDown because I don't have Fox. Anyway, we'll figure all that out. I'm going to be thinking about the schedule this week, thinking about what to do. But never fear, plenty of stuff will be on the channel and featured this week. But in the meantime, you guys have got other stuff up there. Last Wednesday's AEW Dynamite at the Forum review is up. It came up this morning, finally. Was able to premiere it this morning on the channel, documenting my experience there and giving you a review of what I saw on the show. Of course, yesterday we were up here for about a 2-hour and 10-minute podcast talking about the latest Vince McMahon stuff and if AEW could potentially buy WWE and a lot of other topics as well. So watch some of those to keep you busy, and we'll be up here very soon with more stuff, possibly even as early as tomorrow. I'm just sorry I don't have any more definitive answers for you. But anyway, if you can smash the thumbs up button on your way out the door, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. And if you live here in the States, hopefully you have tomorrow off, because tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. And shout out to Dr. King, who I admire very, very much. And tomorrow is also my 12-year anniversary at my current job. I started Martin Luther King Day in 2011, just a few months after moving to San Diego from the East Coast. Been there ever since. Fucking love it. So tomorrow's my anniversary. So I'm going to take my restaurant out for a nice date, and hopefully it'll put out. Fingers crossed. Anyway, you guys have a great rest of your night. Thanks for being here. Enjoy your holiday tomorrow,